Wowie zowie, it's us, and we're here, and it's time for calling it now. Hello, everybody. I don't have the ability to hook up my guitar right now to be heard, or I would try to pull a classic Jimmy, strumming on the guitar intro. But I'm here. I'm Luxander, and with me is Jovan. Jovan is suffering from having had dental surgery, but is still showing up for work.
Yeah. When you say it like that, it makes me want to leave. Showing up for work. You're right. What am I? Oh, it just feels, my mouth feels very weird because there's a temporary bridge in before they put the real one. Because I work camera facing, I was like, well, I don't want to have missing teeth on camera, right?
Yeah, sure.
So they put a temp bridge in, and it's just now my mouth just feels weird. Like the gums, they are different because the teeth are out. And where the teeth are different, like, so my mouth, it feels like, well, because it feels like there's just something over my teeth, like my teeth aren't gone, there's just something covering them, and that feels, so part of me is like, should I have just let them take out my teeth and just let it be? I don't know, feels weird, I don't like it.
Yeah, it gives you a really emaciated look when you don't have teeth. I know somebody who recently had a bunch of their teeth removed, and it's just like they like it. They like the sort of skeletal look that they've got going on right now. But
I don't
it
think
is
I gotta worry about looking
dramatic.
emaciated. I'm
Yeah.
gonna keep it real with you. I think I'm okay in that regard.
You can do like the fish lips and like suck in your cheeks and get an idea of what it's gonna look like when you lose all your
Yeah,
teeth.
no, I think we good on that one.
Well, everybody, we're here to call in. You are here to call in. We're here to take your calls, and debates are the main thing that we're trying to do today. We are both, would you say broadly you're a socialist? Like, obviously, you've got a more specific, but like socialism is
I mean,
kind of like,
I'm a communist, fam.
do you think socialism is like upstream of communism? Like that it's like an
No,
umbrella?
communism is upstream of socialism. Socialism is a precursor to communism.
Yeah, yeah,
I
okay.
mean, the only reason to do a socialism is because you want to get to communism.
So you don't think that communism could be considered a specific type of socialism, like a
No,
more details? They're separate.
because socialism can have a state, and communism you physically cannot have a state under communism.
Okay, that's fair. Totally get that. Um, I've always thought of them
One
as
of the
being
one
like
of the many
sort of
things I
similar,
disagree
but
with Jimmy on.
that's fair. Yeah, I think like communes by definition are decentralized units. And so like communism is not communism unless there are communes, right? Like that's kind of the way that I think about it anyway.
Communism just requires no private property.
Okay.
If you're in a system without private property, you're essentially in communism.
Just basically everything is like shared in terms of like and things that need to be produced are collectively owned and operated.
Yes, communism. Everything is collectively owned, collectively distributed. Nothing is made that does not benefit the community at large.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good stuff. I feel like I should update the title of the stream. I put socialist in the title because I thought that it was a safe umbrella term.
You can essentially call every communist a socialist, and you're not describing them inaccurately. I mean,
Sure.
my sign behind me says "friendly neighborhood socialist," right?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a good one. Nice. Well, regardless, I think that those two belief systems are much more similar than they are to capitalism or like conservatism or MAGA or any of that. And so that's the goal here today, is that we're both coming from a radical far left perspective, and we want to have some conversations. Now, we are also willing to talk to liberals who disagree with our ideas because liberals tend to be pro-capitalism and very much like pro the state, which it's so interesting and weird, the concept that like a state exists for the purpose of its own self-perpetuation. I think about that a lot, where instead, because you can like the idea that you can be like tried for treason. So like you just like doing an action that's in opposition to the constructed thing that a state is. It's just a like a weird concept when you start to kind of pull at the, just like pulling at the tangles of the knots.
I will say, Ian J.A. Green said many communists actually don't want a stateless society, and they don't want communism. You want socialism.
Anarchism specifically is like unjustified hierarchies.
Yeah. Well, anarchism is very similar. I mean, I'm probably an anarcho-communist if I were to place a title on it. The
I
thing
think so
about the
too for me.
state, at least in the way that Marx and Engels talk about it, which is the way I go because I'm a Marxist, a state is essentially its only tool is to maintain class distinctions. That's why states primarily focus on protecting property and capital interests.
Hmm.
Whereas under capitalism, under communism, because there are no more classes, you have no need for a state.
Hmm.
So the state would just functionally become a thing of the past because there are no class distinctions.
And wouldn't that be a world? Wouldn't that be an interesting world?
But I also have a question I want to know from people. One simple question. Why do you still support Donald Trump? I just need to know. I need to
That's
know
the
the why.
question of the day today. Yes.
But also I'm eating one of like 4 things I can eat, which is mac and cheese, and I can only eat on this side of my face.
Hmm.
So I'm eating so much slower than I usually eat, which is probably a good thing. I learned on Oprah, chew 20 times every bite.
Chew 20 times.
That's what Oprah said.
Okay.
Because then you eat slower and you get full fast. You get full like before finishing your meal.
That's true. I've also seen folks say like, don't prepare your next bite until you're done with the bite that you have, because that's also a way of bringing like intentionality and slowing yourself down a little bit. So I try that one sometimes. I'm
No, I
not
want to
great at
chipmunk it. I want to just fill.
it. Just slurp it all in.
All right.
Um,
Who's going to be our first caller today?
yeah, we don't have any calls on the line. By the way, 336-543-2101 is the number. We're taking calls. We want to talk to
We
y'all.
really need to start calling it now
Hmm.
10 minutes before the end of the other show because their lines are closed anyway. So we really should
Yeah.
start 10 minutes early to get people into the stream and calling.
Yeah, that would make sense. Like, I mean, I guess the idea is that they just send the whole audience over at the end of their show, but I don't think that there's any harm either in like starting one show and kind of starting off slow for the first few minutes organically, and then the whole rush comes in from the previous show. But y'all are probably tired after this entire week of us talking about the fundraiser. Y'all are probably tired about hearing uh backdoor bullshit that goes on, like, open up the hood and take a look under there. Y'all don't need to know all the stupid shit that we have to think about and care about. um MAGA, where are you? Legitimately, how could you
MAGA.
possibly still support Donald Trump? This is the one of the questions we want to ask today. This man is a hypocrite. He is an adulterer. He's like like arguably a sexual predator in
MAGA.
multiple different ways.
Arguably is definitely a sexual predator.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Bro, anyone that looks a 10-year-old girl in the face and says, I'm going to be dating her in 10 years, lock them
Yeah,
up, throw away the key.
yeah, yeah. There should have been an investigation of the hard drive at that point. Like, there should have definitely been some action.
Real quick before I forget.
Yeah.
All my life, this is back to my teeth thing. It's one more thing I want to say about it.
Yeah.
I have never been a fan of taking like painkillers.
Mhm.
So I never really have. Like even ibuprofen I very rarely take. Usually I'll just deal with the headache. So my the dentist office gave me just 800 milligram ibuprofen for like the painkillers for my teeth.
Mhm.
Because my tolerance is so low, shit works like a dream. I'm Gucci off of just a little ibuprofen. I don't gotta go hard.
I
Be
think
jealous, fam.
that's one of the reasons why I don't like to take medicine all the time. Like, I want it to be more effective and take it less frequently so that it like hits
Yeah.
harder. But I also am forgetful as shit. So that's part of it too. Is like, I don't really want to be on a medication I'm supposed to take every day because I will forget.
No, true, real true. I have multiple medications. Anyway, 10 minutes in, guys. Let's get some calls going. What's the number today?
336-543-2101. We've got our call screener waiting to talk to you guys. And then we are waiting to have some fun conversations. We want to debate. We want to talk about Trump. If you want to tell us your arguments in support of capitalism or in support of Trump, or how much you love JD Vance and you're so excited about him being the next presidential nominee for the Republicans or something, listen.
I don't think it's gonna be. I think I'm kind of siding with Jimmy. I think it might be Carlson.
I don't disagree.
I think they've realized they can't do a Trump again.
No.
I think the GOP is slowly realizing, oh fuck, I can't do this shit.
And there's too much to ridicule about JD Vance. Like, I don't think that they're willing to put up somebody who can't be like a strong man to an extent. And I think Tucker Carlson is honestly better positioned to do that than Vance is.
Hey, you want to hear something funny? So Euro is back in my chat the other day, and I'm so happy I have all this on video to clown his ass.
Oh
The
boy.
other day, Euro was in my video or in my stream, and so I went and looked at his. Right now, he's like talking about, look how low your numbers are. This isn't my main stream. This is a co-stream, and my numbers are always low because most of the audience is watching over on the other side. 931 of them. This is just a simul stream, you idiot. But I went onto Euro's page and saw that one of his like most recent streams had like barely any views, right? After I talked shit about him, that same within the next 2 hours, he privated the video because he got shit on so hard. That's so fucking funny, dude.
The funny little things that happen in this ecosystem, little online ecosystem we've got going on here.
It's truly hilarious when the fans come in. You know, like Euro, Billy, not Sipes. That we love Billy Sipes.
I was gonna say,
Nate
don't
Billy,
talk on Billy Sipes.
No, Nate Billy, Tim from New York, who it didn't, who I think Jimmy Perma banned.
I hope so.
Yeah. Who else? Who else is Lucian was one until recently too. Lucian got that perma ban. He hasn't been perma banned from my stream yet. We'll see if he calls in again.
Yeah. I don't know what happened. I don't know if it was a decision that Jimmy made or if it was some glitch in Call-In Studio, but like all of our last couple of years of bans just got deleted, which is why we had like people, oh, I thought Andrew from New Jersey was banned. He was. And then he got unbanned. And I was like, well, sometimes he's the only theist caller we get. So sometimes it's like, oh, do we want to have a clip from this show or not? Are we trying to make money or not? Did Andrew finally did he get another permaban recently? Chat's saying that he did.
During the fundraiser, Andrew got permabanned.
Finally. Like that's the second permaban.
I think it was for 2 years, Jimmy said.
Yeah, I think the default that it does is it's either 1 year or 2 years is the default. But yeah, that's good stuff. We got a couple people calling in. Yeah, we got a couple people screening. The number is still open. We still have lines open, and who we want to talk to is we want to talk to MAGA. We want to talk to conservatives. We want to talk to if you're a liberal and you want to defend the status quo. Those are the kind of conversations. I mean, I'm a tran. I'm semi-willing to talk about trans issues today.
I'm a tran is a way I've never heard it described.
Oh, okay. It's like
just dropping the S. Just dropping the S.
Yeah.
So it's just the singular tran.
Yeah,
that's
we're
fucking hilarious.
Yeah. A transgender for those of you who don't know what we're talking about. Yeah. Silly things. We got somebody. Oh, I don't know. How do you feel about that call?
That's isn't that Billy Sipes? That's Billy Sipes.
Is that Billy Sipes?
Billy from Texas? Yeah, that's Billy Sipes.
Oh, I didn't know that. We got somebody else screening as well. I want to see what they want to talk about. But we're really here to talk to MAGA. Come on. Where have y'all been?
MAGA.
Where has MAGA been?
They're fucking terrified because Trump is losing in Iran, so they're freaking out. Then Trump just went over to China to suck Xi Jinping's dick. So they're all upset because Trump is in China fucking... Did you see, brother? He said, yeah, I went to Xi Jinping and I said, we like your Chinese food. Americans love Chinese food. Let me see if I can find that fucking clip.
Wow.
That shit was crazy. That shit was so funny.
While Jovan's looking for that, guys, there's about 1,000 of you watching right now and only 800 likes. I just refreshed. Only 200 likes on the stream. So listen, if you can just take a quick second, it's quick, it's easy, it's free. Double tap your screen if you're on the mobile or hit the like button on the desktop. But just whatever you can do, just touch the screen as many times as you can. Click share and then copy the link, even if you don't copy paste it somewhere, although I would love if you did that. But listen, with 1,000 people watching, there should be at least 600-700 likes on the video. It's so quick, it's easy, and I appreciate you guys doing it. We got a Republican calling in. Oh, I remember talking to him before, I'm pretty sure.
You want to hear? You want to hear what he said?
Yes.
What Trump had to say about Chinese food? It's so
Yes.
fucking funny, bro. Hold on, let me get this so you can hear it, Lux. Here we go. Let me know if you hear this.
Yeah.
As allies in World War II, President Franklin Roosevelt's mentions of the brave people of China, that's what they were, drew loud cheers in his speeches in the United States, and everybody loved what he had to say. Just as many Chinese now love basketball and blue jeans, Chinese restaurants in America today outnumber the 5 largest fast food chains in the United States, all combined. That's a pretty big statement.
那么，作为二战期
Who cares? What is the shit, bro? You're so stupid, dude.
That's the best he can do. He's trying to reach across a cultural bridge, and that's literally all he can do. Is just be like, yeah, we love Chinese food. Isn't that great?
The way we do it is by bringing the Chinese food.
Yeah, truly.
It's so stupid.
It's so embarrassing. I'm really glad that I was a child when George Bush Jr. was elected, because I understand in retrospect how embarrassing that was for us on the national stage to have a bumbling fucking idiot as our president. And it's so much worse now. But at least I didn't have to suffer it twice.
Dodged that shoe. Remember when the guy threw that shoe at him?
Yeah, he dodged and weaved twice. It was good. That guy apparently has a Twitter, or did a few years ago, and would like actively retweet or like when people would talk about him throwing the shoe on Twitter. It was pretty funny. We've got a bunch of liberals and leftists calling in.
To Steve, and now trying to debate us like he's. Oh no! Oh, somebody. I think an error happened.
It starts out copy pasted, and then the
no. It's the screener already put him into the host queue. So
yeah,
those notes are definitely incorrect.
Yeah, the way that I've seen it done recently is like I'll notice that it's duplicated and then it gets updated after a minute. I don't know what changed.
I've never seen that before.
Yeah,
you're lying to me, Lux.
I produce more than you do. Well, I don't know if I produce more than you do for your own show. I don't know how often you stream, but
I produce like 7 days a week, damn near.
Dang, that's crazy.
Come at me, Lux.
But do you have this new fancy banner that changed everything that we do this past week?
No, I don't need the fancy banner. I have my own banners.
Exactly. We're waiting for calls to come in. We've got a leftist and a liberal who've called in. I don't really need a liberal to tell me why people still support Trump. I'm here to listen to MAGA tell me why they still support Trump. Mostly, I don't want to do let's shoot the shit together conversations. That's not really what this is for. This is a debate show. It's a debate show.
Brother.
Let me yell at somebody.
Bro, there's no way. I think Euro's most recent live, he definitely botted views on. 118K views from his last live that had 8.2K views.
Wow.
Motherfucker bought views. There ain't no way. Purchased.
Pathetic.
Secured.
Listen, even when I'm struggling, at least I know that I'm struggling in earnest. And I don't have to be like,
Wait,
I'm succeeding.
did you see the ad for the Trump phone?
No, I've heard about this thing that's definitely not going to ship out. But
it looks just like an ad from The Boys. Like, it's not even funny. It looks identical to like an advertisement from The Boys.
Oh,
like
boy.
To the point that I'm like, what the fuck is happening? Do I have the ability to share my screen? I don't think so.
I don't know how it works. I mean, I would guess that you do, but only one way to find out.
Oh, I didn't do it. No, I don't think I have the ability. It's so funny though. I can like you can hear it. I can let you hear it. Like even just the voice is fucking so reminiscent of The Boys. What a hilarious interaction. Yeah, I'm telling you. Can the screener talk back to number 4 and confirm those? Well, nope, never mind, too late. Nope, now it is still there. Can the screener talk to number 4 and figure out? because number 4 was not that person. I know because I've talked to the person in number 4 before.
The screener is typing right now. Okay, here.
How do you know?
Because I'm looking at Discord.
Oh, things I'm not doing.
Sorry, everybody. There's like, this is what happens when I have to multitask, is like, I can't really function.
Someone asked me how I feel about the rise in debate streams across social media. I'm seeing some bottom of the barrel content lately. It's really annoying when I watch people who do debates but don't research. That shit is annoying.
I mean, it's pretty much
as
like
someone who does.
It's like any other field where it's your job and you have to watch people come in and do worse at it and somehow succeed better than you. Like, I mean, I'm not saying that like every bottom of the barrel person is succeeding or that every person who's succeeding is bottom of the barrel, but it's like, I don't know. I get this kind of similar thing when I see yet more and more trans content creators where I'm like, how long have you been out as trans? Like, oh, 2 years? And you're like placing yourself in this position of like speaking for everybody and you have a giant platform after only 2 years somehow. And I'm like, it's just the weirdness of having been around for a long time and being like steady in what you do. And then like seeing new people come in who are just like, I guess it's like, I'm not going to say it's only one factor, but sometimes it's like, is it because this person is hot? Or like, what is it?
I think a lot of the times people think they can just debate using their experiences. And I hate to break it to you. No, you cannot.
That's true, too. You should
actually do the exact opposite.
Mm-hmm. You actually got to know the material.
Looks like we got a debate call.
Yeah, we finally have MAGA person who wants to talk to us. While we are talking to this person, though, the lines are still open, 336-543-2101. And there's also a link in the description, I guess, if you're from the web caller. But we usually don't take web callers on this show, I don't think, unless you're outside the U.S. And we're talking about American politics. So why are you calling if you're outside the U.S.? Anyway, let's talk to Yeats. He, him pronouns, MAGA from Pennsylvania. Hello. You're live on Calling It Now with Luxander and Jovan. How's it going?
Good. How are you? I called the show maybe about a month ago, maybe a month and a half ago, and we were discussing, why I support Trump and the nuclear issue with you on. And Jovan, if I recollect, you said you wouldn't care if the entire Middle East goes nuclear, and you wouldn't care if the Taliban or Al-Qaeda of 9/11 fame acquired nuclear weapons. That would mean the end of a Jewish state of Israel. So I actually would make the argument that it was anti-Semitic of you to make that statement. Will you please take it back and apologize?
No.
So
if you want to cry harder about it, I don't know why. What?
So you're fine being labeled an anti-Semite?
I don't give a fuck what you label me. Label me whatever. Label me whatever you want, you fucking coward.
You said that you were fine with our enemies, Al-Qaeda, ISIS, Taliban, Hezbollah, Hamas gaining nuclear capabilities. That would mean the end of the world.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you pull this emotional peel out of your ass this morning, or did you shit it out a month and a half ago? How long have you been sitting on that one?
I wanted to call back and confront you about it, politely and respectfully, of course.
This is the confrontation? Ooh, yikes. This is the confrontation part. Okay.
I was shocked.
What are you going to do? Cancel me? You're going to cancel me for it? I can't wait. You want to tell my boss? You want to tell my boss that I was... You want to tell my boss?
I don't have any... I don't have any power for your position, your job. But I suppose you will put yourself in the anti-Semitic camp, which is very unfortunate. It's not a fun place to be in, professionally or spiritually or mentally.
Wow.
So would you please kindly take back the statement that you want the Middle East to get nuclear to bomb Israel? Will you please take that back? Because that would
Prove
be
I made that statement.
You made it about a month ago on this show.
Prove it.
I'd have to get the URL. I have to get the link there, the URL.
Go get the link.
And
go get the URL.
Okay, so give me a moment, please, as I look it up.
Can't wait. I can't wait to hear your out of context quotes. It's so funny.
I just need a moment to get it. I posted it on X, by the way.
Wow, you posted it on X, big boy. I'm sure Elon Musk was thrilled.
I haven't posted or even looked at Twitter in such a long time. I actually didn't know that people, aside from people who are in the news, were legitimately calling it X. Like, I didn't know that we were lending legitimacy to that fucking idiot.
What do you mean? Of course the caller wouldn't dead name Twitter.
Nah, that's true. You're trans positive. We know that about you.
So I have the YouTube video, but the sound doesn't play. It's just the link for it.
You have the YouTube video, but the sound doesn't play?
It is about a minute. It is about 1 hour and 9 minutes in. And I guess it doesn't give me a link per se. It just says, let me see, I can copy links.
He knows YouTube videos have titles, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, it has a title, but the link actually probably would be, well, I guess I could just read you the title, I suppose. Doesn't matter, really.
Great, tell me what the title is.
The title of the video, it's loading. 1 second, please.
Shitty ass internet, dog.
Yeah.
What's the channel?
It's called Debating.
Do you see the channel, the name of the channel?
Yes, it's the Jimmy Snow and Line.
Oh, okay, you're referencing one of the videos from this channel. Okay, cool.
I'm going to play the exact moment he's talking about. I can't wait to hear how he took it out of context.
And the title is Debating MAGA and Trump voters, calling it now. It was streamed a month ago. And
it would have a date on it, you know? You could tell us the date.
The date is 4/16/26.
Damn, see how you
And it said pop up immediately. It's about 1 hour and 9 minutes, I believe.
Right, cool. Stop talking now. Right, cool. Stop talking now. Here we go. You guys ready to hear how out of context this is? I can't wait to hear how out of context this is. This is going to be the most amazing part of the stream, chat. It's at 1:09. Let's listen. I don't mind wasting time today.
I think he said hour 9 minutes.
Yep, I have it right here.
Yeah.
Here we go. Hour 9 minutes. Let's hear him say I said something I probably didn't say.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, your position is about Iran and that Trump is going to save the world because of the nuclear threat. So tell us about it.
Yeah, I think the calculation, in my opinion anyway, is very simple. So we don't want the Iranians to get nuclear weapons, as we saw with Diego Garcia. We know that they've already lied about the capabilities, the range. It went about 4,000 kilometers. They claimed they only had 2,000.
None of this is about nuclear missiles, by the way.
And then the former deputy of the Iranian parliament even just admitted on camera. He just said, yeah, we're working.
This was a lie, by the way. The former Iranian minister was talking about 2003.
On a nuclear program. And then, of course, if they get nukes, the whole Middle East is going to go nuclear. Egypt, Saudi Arabia. And
he has no evidence to prove this.
I believe if
I mean, that's a good thing.
In a while, but say again.
Well, one, I would say we've known Iran's had a nuclear program.
Is that what he's talking about?
2003.
When I said, that's a good thing, is that what you're talking about? Jesus Christ.
No,
brother.
You have to keep playing it.
It's not a surprise to anybody.
Right.
Two, they didn't pose any nuclear threat per pretty much every assessment that's been done on them since 2003. Including assessments done by Trump's administration last year. And three, I think it's probably a good thing that the Middle East gets nukes. Maybe then America will stop fucking with them all the time.
True. What have I said that's anti-Semitic so far? Saying that they should have nukes as a deterrent so America stops interfering with their country? I'm sorry, hold on.
I believe
hold on. You told me I said they should get the nukes and blow up Israel. I am clearly saying they should get nukes as a deterrent so America stops fucking with them.
Well,
so you are taking my words out of context.
No. If you keep playing the video, I asked you about.
Why don't you give me a direct timestamp so that why don't you give me a direct timestamp so that this video is not just us watching another video? Because so far I haven't said what you said. Give me the exact time.
I should have got the exact timestamp.
Exception.
Well, okay, that's the thing though. If you're trying to hold someone here accountable for their words, you do actually need to have like the specific thing ready so that we don't have to just listen to it the entire 20-minute call that you made before, right?
Yes. It wasn't that long. If it's all right, I suppose I could hang up and I could get the exact timestamp and call back.
Damn, it would be amazing if you.
Okay, how about instead you interrogate us currently about our beliefs currently, because it's possible that there was a misspeak. It's possible if you're like, so if you were to ask now, do you believe that Iran should blah, 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 whatever, like then we could clarify our past statements, which is not the same as necessarily us in being inconsistent, but rather that we do this show for like 3-hour chunks at a time. And sometimes in the flow of conversation, sometimes you misspeak. So what belief do you think we have that you want to interrogate?
Yes. So for the audience, they could rewind onto YouTube and they can get the title for themselves and type it in with the date. And if you keep playing the video, I believe maybe 5 or 10 minutes into it, I apologize.
Can you respond to the thing that I just said and not tell us about the old video? So today, right now, please, with your mouth right now, iterate to us what the concern is. Iterate to me, paraphrase what was said before so that we can address the concern right now. I don't need you to give me the timestamps on the video.
Yeah, okay. The concern is that Jovan said he doesn't care if the whole Middle East goes nuclear, and when I pressed back and said, what about Al-Qaeda getting nuclear weapons? He basically said that was all right with him, and that would result in the annihilation of Israel as well as much of the West. So that's the problem. And it's anti-Semitic because...
Was it?
Yes, if you keep watching...
Or did I say that these countries should get nukes to prevent America from consistently messing with their countries? Which one did I say?
Yes, well, when I mentioned terrorist organizations, because those states can collapse and the terrorist organization could take charge.
You're saying if one of these governments collapses, so you're basically creating a hypothetical situation in which like a sovereign nation is doing nuclear research. Yeah, please go for it.
Can I show you something? Can I show you something? Ready? Here, listen to this.
Okay. So if I understand you correctly, you are perfectly okay if the Taliban and ISIS and Al-Qaeda have nuclear weapons?
Yeah, I'm okay if I'm 100% okay.
Wow.
I'm 100% okay if the Middle East has nuclear weapons.
Hold on.
Because I'm tired of America consistently putting itself into the Middle East problem. What did I say? Oh, I bet you weren't listening because you don't like context.
You said you were fine with
what was it? What did I say after? What did I say after? You weren't listening.
You said you don't.
Listen again. Hold on. Listen again.
The Middle East.
You notice that right now. You notice right now what you're doing right now. You're talking a bunch because you know that the context makes you look stupid. So be quiet and listen to the full context.
The motivation doesn't matter.
Muted. Yes, the motivation does matter, stupid. So let's listen. I got you on mute now, dumb fuck, to what I actually said.
Yeah, I'm okay if I'm 100% okay.
Wow.
I'm 100% okay if the Middle East has nuclear weapons because I'm tired of America consistently putting itself into the Middle East problem. Or into the Middle East. Now, secondly, you talked about...
There we go. I'm tired of America intervening in the Middle East. So the reason I think that I'm fairly okay with the Middle East getting nukes, one, because they're sovereign nations, but two, because when countries do get nukes, the U.S. stops fucking with them. Like North Korea, the U.S. stopped fucking with them because they have nukes now. Like Russia, the U.S. doesn't go out and fuck with Russia like they used to because they have nukes now. So if nuclear weapons are what it takes to stop American imperialism, then they brought that shit on themselves. Now, do you want to acknowledge Yitz? You just unmuted. I unmuted you. Do you want to acknowledge now that you are taking what I said out of context because context is hard for you, I guess?
Yes, he said something that you realized was a mistake, so you tried to walk it back and rationalize it.
I didn't try to walk it back, stupid. I was in the middle of... What's a because? If someone says
just
something, then because... What does because mean?
Own it.
What does because mean, Yitziv? What does because mean? What is because? What does the word because mean?
We're going to play a semantic game here.
What does the word because mean, you fucking idiot?
It's a transition. If you're going to talk to me like that, or just hang up. It's a transition.
So hang up, dumbass. So hang up. I don't give a fuck about being vulgar when you're going to come in here and misrepresent what I said. I don't give a fuck about being vulgar.
It is pretty obviously. Hey, I'm here. Also, I'm one of the hosts of this show. I'm actually the primary host today. So the thing is that what you're doing right now is like grasping at straws, because Jovan said that he supports the rights of other countries to have nuclear deterrence. That's like our number one argument. That's not the Taliban. You're saying maybe the Taliban will overthrow one of these sovereign nations and then they would have nukes, and then that would be a problem. That's called a slippery slope argument. That's not it's not like we have evidence that that's about to happen.
He said he'd be cool with it if that were to happen, because then we'd stay out of the Middle East.
Because why? Because why?
He said he would be okay with Middle Eastern countries having nuclear arms. That's not the same as saying I'm okay. It's not the same as saying I'm okay with the Taliban having nuclear arms. That's a connection that you are drawing because you are racist. You are just equivocating all countries in the Middle East as being part of the terrorist Taliban. That's what's happening right now.
Actually, I don't. No, it's actually the opposite. United Arab Emirates are great friends of Israel. I love them. I have no problem with moderate Muslims. I have no problem whatsoever with them. So that's actually
Then why do you think that any Middle Eastern country could become a terrorist?
Because they happen to have a lot of radical jihadists. I mean,
that's
reality.
Called racism. That is called racism.
True.
Because we in the United States, holy fucking shit, excuse me. In this country, we have terrorists all over the place. There have been hundreds, if not probably thousands at this point, of bomb threats and attempted arson at Planned Parenthoods and synagogues and mosques across this country. So the argument that you're making would be like if I said, well, there's a lot of terrorists in America, and so they shouldn't have nukes.
It's Islamic fundamentalist. It's a religion.
Yeah, that's fucking racism. When you say, all of Islam is radical and all people who follow Islam are racist,
I never said that. You misquoted
okay, but that is what you're arguing. You're saying that countries that are majority Muslim, you're saying that countries that are majority Muslim are uniquely likely to become terrorists.
No.
Because otherwise, I'm not fucking done. Because otherwise, why are you not freaked out about any other countries having nukes?
Yeah, I don't like it that North Korea has nukes either. Are you going to say I'm racist against all Asians?
Do you like it that America has nukes? Do you like it that America has nukes?
We're a responsible country.
No, we are not.
We're a responsible country. What is the only country in the world that's used nukes?
So we had to do it to end World War II. I don't.
We did not actually have to.
We didn't actually. The war was on its way out.
I agree with you on that point. I do agree with you, but I think.
Wait! Hold on! Stop! Wait! Pause! Hold on, Yitziv. You agree with us that the U.S. didn't need to use a nuke, but we did use nukes, and now you're saying we're responsible with nukes, even though we used nukes when we didn't need to. That's what you're telling me.
The reason I believe they did it, I believe they did it because they wanted to see the effects the nuclear weapons had on the population.
Why haven't we used nukes again? There's a pretty solid reason.
Because nuclear weapons, when it's responsible, has avoided World War III from breaking out.
No, it's because of mutually assured destruction.
Yeah, so that's exactly my point. That would happen as a result.
So what we know is no other countries use nukes but us. Countries avoid using nukes, and they only keep them as deterrents. But you just assume any country that gets a nuke that's brown, oh shit, watch out, they're going to become terrorists. They're going to start blowing everybody else up.
It's about ideology, okay? If Iran became a secular state, if it became an atheist state, or if it became a Buddhist state, they probably would be fine with
Who was the head of Iran?
Well,
Who was the head of Iran?
Khamenei and Mustafa
What was his
Khamenei,
name?
and they are radicalized. The Mustafa.
What was his name?
You mean his daddy
Full
or the
name?
son?
Full name. The guy we killed.
Yeah, Ayatollah Khamenei.
Now you said that he was their ideology, you know, that ideology that they have is so, but what has he said specifically about nuclear weapons?
Yeah, the fatwa was a lie, obviously. Everybody knows that.
Okay, so here's what I know. So here's what we know. So here's what we know. You are just an idiot because now you're here going, well, they said that they all what they say and did is that nuclear weapons are forbidden and they don't want to do them. And so they've disbanded their nuclear weapons program in 2003 and it's been disbanded since. But now all of a sudden you think they've just restarted it and then they're going to have nukes.
No,
even though you have no exactly. Evidence of them restarting their nuclear weapons program up again.
Because they were afraid what was going on with Iraq. They didn't want to be on the chopping block, but they kept it up secretly. Now, I do have one other point.
I'm sorry, do you have evidence that they kept it up secretly?
Oh yeah, all the documents, all the facilities.
What documents? I love all the documents. Like that's a no. Do you have evidence?
Yes, the Mossad got all those documents in 2017, proving that they
all those documents. Nope, all those documents talked about it was the 90s and the 80s. I'm talking about now. This is what you do. This is what you did last time. You think because you have evidence that before 2003 they were building nukes, that evidence is going to hold up now, even though every report that's come out about Iran, even since the war broke out, was that they had no plan on restarting their nuclear weapons program. They did not pose a nuclear threat. Every report has said that. The IAEA report has said that. Stop talking. The IAEA report said that. The Arms Control Coalition report said that. The United States, our intelligence programs, said this same sentence. You are a war hawk. You want Iranians to die because you don't like Iranians. So you're okay with the U.S. indiscriminately killing Iranians. How many Iranian civilians? How many Iranian civilians have died? If you want them to be free, how many have died since Trump started the war?
I believe it's been a few thousand, if I recollect. But the war now.
So those few thousand aren't free.
Blockade.
Those few thousand aren't free. They're dead.
Yes, it's an unfortunate reality of war.
It's a reality of war. Whoa. Hold on, stop. It's a reality of war is an interesting thing to say. Why did the U.S. bomb a girls' school in Iran, killing 140 kids? We did. We've admitted to it. Stop. The United States has admitted to it. The United States has admitted that it was us. So stop with that bullshit. That's what I'm talking about. You don't know what you're talking about. The U.S. has admitted that the school was bombed because of us. We even gave the reason why. So why did the U.S. bomb a girls' school?
What do you think the reason was? What do you think?
Stop. Not what I think. Stop. Not what I think. We're not playing this. What you think? I think. No. The stated reason from the U.S. is that we were using intelligence that was 14 years out of date. So we were targeting a target using 14-year-old intelligence that was no longer there. That's what the United States has said.
Yeah,
so
I'll tell you
you're proving my point here. There is no real reason. There is no real. No.
You don't like the facts.
You don't get to do this. You don't get to go, well, that's the real reason. No, we've stated the real reason. We've released the reports with the real reason. We have Yitzhak, why don't you fucking read? Can you tell me that? Why is reading so difficult for you?
Do you want Brown?
Why is read? I want you to answer the question. I want you to answer the question. Why don't you read? I want you to answer the question. Why don't you read?
Brown people killed.
Why don't you read?
Why don't you read?
Why don't you read?
You're racist and
that's what I want to know right now. Why don't you read?
I follow my facts. You follow your facts.
No, you don't follow any facts. You actually do the exact opposite. There are no facts coming out of you right now. I'm going to ask you a simple yes or no question. Has the United States admitted that they were at fault for the girls' school blowing up? Yes or no?
That I did not follow up on. I suppose they did, but
exactly.
I told you
Shut the fuck up. I didn't follow up on it. Fucking eat shit. Go ahead, Lux.
I was just gonna say, I was just gonna butt in right there and say, like, there is no such thing as your personal facts. It's either the facts or it's not. And so the fact is, like, if you wanna imagine that there's some other secret reason why the United States government double tapped a fucking elementary school, like you can suspect, you can be a conspiracy theorist if you want, but the stated reason is that we were using out-of-date intelligence. And it's shocking to me that you think that the United States is responsible enough to have nukes when we just killed a bunch of children because we were using out-of-date information or whatever the reason was. What's the reason? No, but I'm about to ask you a question, actually, because I'm in the middle of fucking talking. So the thing is that I want you to give me any justification for the murder of those 140 girls. What do you think the United States government was doing? What do you think could have possibly justified that and indicate that we are responsible and that we're the good guys in this situation? Please elucidate to me how the United States government is not the villain of that story.
Yes, there was no justification about it. It was a tragic mishap, a mistake. And the proof is that when Iran made human change across the nuclear power plant, Trump backed down. He did not attack all of the civilians around this power plant. That's all the proof you need, that we're not targeting civilians.
Okay, so I just want to confirm, you agree that there is absolutely no justification and that the United States government made a mistake that killed 150 children?
Yes, but I also blame the Iranians.
No, that was a yes or no question. Yes, that was a yes or no question. That was a yes or no question. Thank you for answering it. So you think that the United States, the United States, which murdered 150 school children by a mistake, you think that that country is responsible enough to have nuclear weapons?
Yes, the Iranian government.
Are you serious? Are you serious? I don't care. I want my government to be responsible. Yes. I want my government to be responsible. And I don't think some other country doing something makes it less bad that my country murdered and ruined the families of 140 children. There is no situation in which a mistake like that is acceptable. And it is so disgusting that you're willing to just brush past it.
All right. Could I ask you a question now?
No, I want you to answer for why you believe that that's okay.
Because mistakes happen in war all the time. I mean, in Israel,
you think it's acceptable for your elected leaders to murder children? You don't want to hold them to a higher standard?
No. You're taking me out of context. I am not.
I'm asking you a question.
To murder kids, God forbid. I am saying that in war, there's collateral damage. It's called the fog of war.
So what you're saying is that it's acceptable that we did that. What you're saying is that it's acceptable. I never said it
was acceptable. I said it was a mistake.
That is literally by definition. Mistake. Yes. If you're saying this is normal in war and you are not calling for like a tribunal, if you're not calling for people to lose their fucking jobs, if you're not saying we need to stop this conflict entirely until the United States answers for the crime it just committed, then what the fuck are we even doing? Like, who do you think you are, actually, to come in here?
Let me put it like this.
You are okay with the death of children as the matter of course, and you think that that's responsible. You think the United States is responsible.
If we don't want more children killed, we have to knock out the regime as soon as possible, because that will end all of the bloodshed.
But there wasn't any. There was no active conflict happening. We initiated this conflict. We started it.
Lux, it's so interesting he says that we have to knock out the regime. Who's in charge right now of Iran?
The IRGC are in charge.
Who was in charge when we started the war?
It was the IRGC. I see your point. But the economy is going to die.
I thought, that's so interesting. That's so interesting. Yeah. So the way you want to help the people of Iran is by killing their economy. That's going to help them.
Inflation's going to go up 180%, and then the people are going to revolt.
How many people will die? How many people will die from this? How many people will die from this?
I have no idea. I feel it will be a lot, but there really is no other choice.
So let me just confirm, the way you help the people of Iran, Gitziv, is by killing the people of Iran. You're a piece of shit.
That's not what I said.
You are a... Yes, it is quite literally exactly what you just said. I asked you how many people are going to die from the economy collapsing. You said a lot.
And you said that it's necessary.
No.
So the way that you help them is by killing them. You are a dog shit human being, and your ideology is coming out the more you say it. You are literal scum.
I thought you said how many people would die if they revolt against the government. The government has machine guns.
You know that's not what I said. You know that's not what I said. Don't be a fucking slimy little asshole. You know for a fact that's not what I fucking said.
So is this another?
You know for a fact that's not what I said. You know that for a fact. Now you're just trying to fucking walk it back. You know for a fact that's not what I said. Such a fucking
I'm apologizing.
Coward.
I wouldn't apologize if I was just making it up. I probably
You're such a
misheard
fucking
you.
coward, dude.
Okay, I have a question for you. If Iran gets nuclear weapons and destroys Israel, 45% of Israelis are brown Mizrahim, not white Ashkenazim. I don't consider us Ashkenazim to be white anyway, but they're brown. You would not confuse them with Italians. Are you comfortable with all those 45?
Prove to me that Iran is going to strike Israel.
Being killed?
Prove to me that Iran is going to strike Israel.
They literally had a clock in Tehran ticking down to our destruction. Like 2040, they had a ticking time clock that we took out in the last 12-day war. I think that's pretty clear enough. Let alone all.
I'm going to say it again. 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 Prove that Iran is going to strike Israel if they get a nuke. All you're using is circumstantial evidence.
Time clock, Jovan.
I don't care. Prove that they're going to strike.
That's a slippery slope argument. Yet you're just making shit up.
Slope argument.
I'm not making it up. Everyone can feel free to Google it and find all the statements. There's endless statements. They want to destroy Israel. They want to destroy the U.S. My final question for both of you, since you hate this country so much and think we target children on purpose, when are you leaving for China?
I spent $20,000 moving from a Republican state to a Democratic state. Do you have $20,000 for me to emigrate to another country?
Fucking dumbass question was that? Did he just?
Perhaps the government would pay for it. Perhaps the government to get everyone.
So you want the taxpayer? You want the taxpayer to pay for me to leave the country so that I can stop paying taxes in this country? So that sounds like an intelligent investment in the future of this country.
Well.
God, you're a fucking idiot, dude. All right, I'm done with that.
Dumber than dumb, bro.
Literally dumber than a sock full of bricks. Clear banner. Okay, well, that was fun. Lines are filling up, you guys. Thank you so much for all of the people in the queue waiting. We are going to take these calls, as many of them as we can, in the next 2 hours. We've got 2 more hours of this show before we're moving on to After Dark. If you guys don't already know, we've got so many amazing shows. We're done with the RFR fundraiser, so now we're just back to our regular programming. And, we've got After Dark later tonight. We've got Skep Talk on Mondays. We've got Chewed Gum on Tuesdays. Let's see what we got. Anything exciting in particular happening this week? We've got Matt Dillahunty with Justin Deconstruction Zone on the Hang Up on Wednesday. That's exciting. And many more shows, both on this channel and on the line at Q&A line here on YouTube. So don't forget to check those things out. If you're here chilling, don't forget to hit the like button. It's quick, it's easy, it's free. It immediately supports the show. And if we have time, we might look at some of your super chats at the end. We don't have a dedicated super chats section on this show, but in particular, if we end up running out of calls later, but it's kind of looking like we are not going to run out of calls later. So we appreciate all your support, everything that you guys do. Thanks for hanging out with us. Is there anything jumping out at you right now on this call list?
11, 12, 13. All 3 of those are fine.
Okay. Oh, I think we lost 12. Unfortunate. Listen, if you're MAGA and you want to explain to Jovan why you still support Trump, that's our kind of big target question that we want to ask today. And we did just have someone drop who was willing to defend that position. What was his name? Where did it go? Oh, I don't know where it went now. It disappeared. Okay, well, too bad, I guess. Just too bad, so sad for me. With that said, let's go ahead and I guess we're just going to do this topic today. Let's talk to Mike, who's an independent from Florida who goes by he, him pronouns. Mike, you are, if this will work. Okay, you're live with Luxander and Jovan. How's it going, Mike?
Good. How are you?
Living the dream. So you want to talk about the nuclear weapons conversation. What's your opinion? Lay it on us.
Well, there's a couple things I'd like to talk about, but first I'd like to start off by, seeing if you guys are actually interested in having a good faith conversation without, swearing calling people names, stupid, dumb, all those kinds of things.
I mean,
I'm not really interested in
I
having a
swear like
conversation.
a sailor, so I can't
Yeah, I
promise
don't know
not
what
to
swearing
swear.
has to do with being good faith or bad faith. I'm going to match the energy that I'm given. If somebody comes in good faith, they're going to receive
Well, I mean,
a good
on
faith
that last
conversation.
call, you definitely didn't match the energy that was given.
The last call where the last call where the guy purposely misrepresented my words was the good faith call. You wanted me to be good faith too?
Yeah, that was like the third time at least that we've talked to that guy, and he's been garbage consistently. So, you know, just because you speak politely doesn't mean that what you're doing is polite. And that guy was absolutely in that category of like, just because he's speaking softly doesn't mean that he isn't being super duper rude by misrepresenting our opinions and spreading misinformation. If you have stuff that is accurate and facts based, that's what we're looking for. So, Mike, if you have like some factual information that you would like to share.
Speaking of facts based, I heard you say facts are not, facts are facts, right? You don't have your own personal facts. There is just the facts, right?
Yeah, that's how it works.
Okay.
What the word means.
So, off topic from the Iranian situation and nuclear stuff like that. If facts are facts, why doesn't biology get that same?
So we're changing what we're talking about.
I'm fine with it. I'm fine. You need a break.
If you want to talk about the Iran stuff, we can. But that was one of your arguments, right? Facts are facts, and
listen, if you want to swerve,
there are no such thing as personal facts, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Facts exist in an objective sense. Like whether or not a country has nuclear weapons.
Facts are not objective. It's either a fact or it's not a fact. There's not an objective fact.
Yeah, no, the definition of a fact is that it's objective. Just said make any sense? Do you know what the word objective means? Like,
yes, I know what the word objective means.
Okay, yeah. So facts are things that are objectively true. This is already turning into something that's
not a good faith conversation, because you're automatically questioning my intelligence by stating a question just like that.
What?
So here's the thing. I maybe we're operating on different social conventions, but like if I ask a clarifying question, that's not me being condescending to you about your intelligence. I will be very overt when I'm being insulting and condescending to you. Like, to be clear, it's not like you don't need to fish for it. If you earn it, you'll know when you're receiving it. So, I mean, do you have a specific? You want to pull a gotcha about some biology thing is kind of what it feels like you're leading up into. And if you're not doing a gotcha,
I don't need to pull a gotcha thing, but just already using that as an argument, saying, there are no such thing as personal facts, right? Then it should apply to all things, not just topics that you think, right?
So when I said that, to be clear, I mean that like you don't get to just like personally decide what things mean or what things are. Like if we are looking at whether something has happened or not, or whether something is going to happen or not, we're operating in the space of like objectively either it's happening or it's not, and objectively either there's evidence or it's not. You can't be like, well, I found my facts and it turns out vaccines are bad for you. It's like either the thing has been well studied and it's true, or there's like fringe people who try to pass off bad science as fact. That's kind of the realm in which I was making the statement. Do you feel like there is some area in which there is like fault in that thought process?
No, I can give you that. See, I'm coming from it as wanting to have an actual solid conversation with you, rather than, getting into a pissing contest. That's not what I want to do. And I'm sure that's not something that you guys want to do as well. I mean, it's fun for clicks and getting views and stuff like that, but like actually having a good, like actual physical conversation would get a lot further with actually getting information out there. So like the whole premise that I've seen on the YouTube live stream right now is, do you still support Trump? I voted for Trump. That was the goal. Do I agree with I voted for Trump. Do I agree with everything that he's doing? Absolutely not. Right. When Biden was president, did I vote for Biden? No. Did I still support Biden as my president and want to see him succeed? Absolutely, right? I think as Americans, we should all get behind our president, regardless of whether or not we agree with every decision that they make, right? They are humans at the end of the day.
What if you agree with almost no decisions they make? Should you get behind them, or should you criticize them and tell them that they should be replaced?
There are plenty of things that I do agree with. And there's plenty of things that I don't agree with. Do I believe in being world police? No.
What do you agree with?
I agree with plenty of things. I believe with trying to bring back manufacturing to the United States. I believe in trying to put the American people first. Do I think that's what's happening when we're going to war with Iran and what?
Manufacturing jobs are down, not up.
That doesn't mean that they're not trying to bring back manufacturing into the United States through tariffs and other means. There's a difference between
have directly caused manufacturing jobs to lower.
What about the last job report where jobs have increased in the United States? Over 100,000.
They haven't increased.
Was it manufacturing jobs specifically or just jobs in general?
That's also not how the jobs report works. It just talks about that specific month.
There's multiple factories. You have to look at factories coming back into the United States.
Trump is the only president in modern times with a negative jobs number.
I don't find that to be accurate.
I'll pull you up the direct numbers. They came from his Bureau of Labor Statistics.
Okay, go ahead.
Sure, let me pull them up right now for you. So, when we're looking currently, like this current,
I have a question. Did you agree with everything that Biden did when he was president, as far as inflation, as far as markets, as far as everything else going on?
Hold on. I criticized Biden on the stuff that I criticized him on the stuff that he deserved criticism for. Just like I criticized Trump. The only difference is Trump does a lot more that deserves criticism. So let's look at jobs. Throughout
Do you think
all
that,
of
is there anything
2025,
positive? Is there anything positive that you would get behind?
Are you trying to move on from the jobs conversation? Because we were trying to focus on that.
It's not. I'm not moving on from the topic. I'm asking you questions that were pertinent to the question that you asked me. I'm sorry that I didn't ask it in the time when you asked me my question.
Let me give the job numbers. Okay. In 2025, so that was all of last year, Trump added 584,000 jobs to the market. That is the lowest jobs number we've had in fucking decades. Here's a flip for that. Biden in 2024 added 2.2 million jobs. So instead of staying on the train of job growth, Trump had the first decrease in the train since COVID.
Can you tell me what the unemployment rates were under Biden, what they are now?
What the unemployment? So you want to know unemployment from 2024 to 2025?
Yeah, that's a pretty simple question. Well, can you tell me what the unemployment? Well, can you tell me what the unemployment rate was?
Yeah, are you ready for this?
President Biden's
unemployment for 2024. Are you ready for it? Are you ready for it? I've got it. Unemployment in 2024, 4% average. Unemployment in 2025, 4.3% average. Which of those numbers is higher?
Repeat the numbers.
2024 was a 4% average unemployment rate. 2025 was 4.3% average. Which of those numbers is higher?
4.3.
So, who had worse unemployment? Biden in his last year or Trump in his first year?
Trump in his first year, but what was the unemployment number before 2024?
Why would I look at COVID
numbers? The
election
election happened at the end of 2024.
Why would I look at COVID
and
numbers?
There was clear signs that Trump was going to be president in the first place, which probably would have led to growth and the economy turning around as far as stock markets and other things like that.
When was the election in 2024? When was the election in 2024, Mike?
Oh, he dropped.
Like, bro, I'm fine if you think Trump did better, but you have to actually give numbers. And it's always so silly. Why would I compare? I don't even compare Trump's COVID numbers to Biden's COVID numbers because it's COVID. So I'm going to compare the two of them to either post-COVID or pre-COVID. Why would I look at during COVID numbers? It's so stupid.
Also, if you're measuring a president's success or their performance on something, looking at the final year of their presidency is the best time, because it's like, what did they accomplish over the entire 4 years? So it's like, the unemployment was 6% when he first got in office. Like, okay, well then he successfully brought it down while he was during his term. So that would be proof that Biden did a good job, which, we don't necessarily think he did a good job on many things, but
literally, I criticize Biden constantly.
Yeah, people
called him
this thing.
I called him the crypt keeper, for God's
sake.
Oh
my God, that's really funny. Yeah, people just assume that if you're on the left, you're like Biden is your God emperor, and just because you guys are treating Trump that way doesn't mean that. I mean, maybe there's Democrats who actually do that, who are like, Biden is perfect and everything, but I'm not one of those. So.
I hate blue MAGA ass motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Even taking the jobs numbers, the BLS's revised numbers, I'm willing to use the non-revised numbers because they also don't help Trump. But the revised numbers take the jobs report for the year from 500,000 to 181,000.
Wow.
Which is the lowest non-recession job growth since 2003. Trump is the king of fucking up economies.
Yeah.
He just figures out how to do it pretty quickly.
It's like the one thing that he's got going for him. Okay, well, we are going to move on. We still have lines open. I'm sorry if the number is slightly cut off on the screen. Some of y'all's phones resize our stream.
Can you put a plus after the final
and just
number,
scoot it over?
Or a minus? Like if you just put another thing there, it will.
If I just kind of
scoot it,
do this and scooch it inwards a little bit.
Fun fact, Euro came in here talking all that shit about my stream. His stream, I just checked in on it. It has 70 viewers.
Lamau.
Like, brother, stop thinking you're fucking popular.
Listen, that's about what I pull, and at least I'm not high on myself about it. I'm like, yeah, this is a modest, small community.
Who we got on the
somebody's screening right now, but we do have a couple calls waiting. We still have lines open, 336-543-2101. I just nudged the number, so hopefully it's showing up on the screen a little bit better for you guys.
I would knock out 13.
Okay, sounds good. Let's talk to Martin, he, him pronouns, who's a conservative from Virginia. Martin, you are live with Luxander and Jovan on Calling It Now. How's it going?
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for taking my call. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to talk about Iran today, so lay it on us. What's your topic?
Oh, so as far as Iran, I was actually trying to kind of piggyback off not this last caller, but the one before that.
Sure.
Pretty much. So it was going to be the main thing I wanted to speak about was Latin America, but as far as Iran, there's a reason why the nuclear bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki were not considered. Was it considered a war crime?
To my knowledge, post hoc, I think we consider it a war crime now, but it wasn't considered a war crime at the time.
Okay. I think that before the Iran war, Iran was the biggest funder of terrorism worldwide. Israel built.
I would disagree with you on that stat.
Say again?
I would just disagree with you on that stat.
Okay. Israel didn't build Iron Dome for no reason. At least you have Israel dropping leaflets telling people to leave a certain area, while you have mosque in Palestine telling people to stay in place, using them as human shields.
You have Israel telling people to go places and then bombing the places that they told them to go. So I don't know what argument you're trying to make with that. And also, they dropped flyers because they took away the electricity. So there's no internet.
There's no other way for them to tell people
even before October 7th, Israel would drop signs telling people to leave a certain area.
Yeah, because they control whether there's internet and the electrical access in the open air concentration camp that they've got going there.
Yeah, sorry, Lux.
No, you're good.
Keep finishing.
No,
I just wanted to say that I have an issue with this take where we talk about our countries bombing Israel. Sure, Israel's also bombing other countries, Lebanon, Iran. They've been bombing the shit out of Gaza Strip. They've been not bombing, but they've been fucking over the Palestinians in the West Bank, which isn't even a part of the Gaza Strip. So, like, my issue with Israel runs deep. That being said, to act like Iran is the biggest funder of terror when the United States exists is not an argument that I would use. The U.S. has funded more terror groups and coups in other countries than you can count on one hand. We funded the Contras in Nicaragua. We funded the coup in Iran in the 50s. We funded that form of terror. We've done this over and over again. The only reason Iran is the way it is now is because we installed a dictator in Iran in the 50s. They would not be the way they are if we did not install a dictator that went crazy on fucking with their civilians.
Oh, you mentioned the West. You mentioned the West Bank. Do you think the West Bank would vote Hamas if Hamas was to run for power there?
I have no idea. Most Palestinians I talk to are not largely in favor of keeping Hamas around, but they view Hamas as a necessary evil.
Okay. There's a reason why people in the West Bank, West Bank as a whole, is treated different than Gaza. Gaza is where the majority of tunnels that were being built on by the humanitarian aid that was getting sent there. The largest tunnel system was built in Gaza. That is not money being used for humanitarian aid. And they're building solid fuel rockets without GPS systems. Wherever they land is wherever they land. Israel is not doing that. And again,
no, Israel's just indiscriminately killing a bunch of people.
Well, they built the Iron Dome for a reason, but
and just a real quick question: all of this
is it because they intended to provoke all of their neighbors? Because that's what they're doing.
Yeah, all of this ignores why Gaza is in this situation in the first place, which is the Nakba. None of this would have happened, right? None of this would have happened if Israel didn't do the Nakba.
Why is Gaza in the situation that it is?
Because Israel did a Nakba, and they kicked 750,000 people, forcibly relocated them out of their homes. That's what caused all of this.
Israel did not start with the land that it currently has now. It started with a much lesser land. They get bombed. They give a warning and say stop bombing.
Friend. What was the Nakba?
Yes, friend.
Martin, what was the Nakba? What was the Nakba?
You're gonna have to remind me on that.
Okay. In 1947, between the years 1947 and 1949, Israel wanted to go back to this land that they considered theirs, even though Israeli people hadn't lived there for years. This was primarily done by European Jewish settlers who were fleeing Europe, obviously for valid reason, right? And so they were going in. They wanted the West Bank, they wanted Gaza Strip, they wanted Jordan, Lebanon, and Syria. And what they did, they wanted the location of Israel. I'm sorry, my brain is all fucked up. They wanted the location that is now Israel, right? And so what they did is there were 700 to 750,000 Palestinians that were forced out of homes that they had been living in for generations. For generations, these people lived there. And that's only counting the people they displaced. None of that counts the amount of people that died during this. The 750,000 number is just the amount of people that were forcibly moved. Right? Not like the Jewish people that went down there couldn't have gone back to their homes in Europe. They could have gone back to where they had lived in Europe for generations, but they didn't. They wanted to create Israel. This is the point of Zionism to begin with. I don't think you can forcefully relocate 750,000 people, then get upset when those people get mad about it and want their homes back.
Yeah, as far as that specific event, I'm going to have to get more educated on that specific event. All I know is that Israel did not start with the amount of land it has now. It had to grow because they had to occupy more land after they continued to get bombed. They kept giving warnings.
Yes, but
stop bombing
what I'm telling you, Martin, is the way it grew was by forcibly removing people from their homes. That's how it grew. Israel didn't exist prior to this.
Yeah, like the country exists fundamentally because of displacement. So arguably anything Palestinians do is in self-defense.
I won't say anything, but I won't say anything, but I would say like here. Let me walk you through something real quick, and I want to hear what you say.
I understand the point. I'm not going to bash. I understand the point.
But I just want to know what you think of this. What you think of this? Like, let's say America gets taken over. Let's say tomorrow we have a red dawn, right? And let's say America gets taken over, and they forcibly move a bunch of Americans to like a city the size of Manhattan. Right. So we're all living there's a bunch of us living in Manhattan, and surrounding us are armed forces who control our movements. They control our utilities. They control what we can and cannot see on media. They control all of this. Would you be upset if a bunch of those Americans like rose up and like started unaliving? Why did I say unaliving? This ain't TikTok. And started killing like a bunch of the people that were holding them there? You wouldn't. You would probably be on their side. But when Hamas does it, and listen, I don't think Hamas should be targeting innocent civilians, just like I don't think Israel should be targeting innocent civilians. But it's just weird that we root for Luke Skywalker blowing up the Death Star, right? But we don't root for people who have been living in an open air prison for 70 years, longer than 70 years now, the 40s to now.
Okay. Would you agree with this? Well, what do you think about? I don't think you'll agree with it, but what do you think about this statement? And the main thing I wanted to get to was Latin America, but I'll just if you all want to continue with this, we can. But what do you think about this statement? I recently went to go see Sam Harris live, not the singer, but the atheist, and he made an interesting statement. He mentioned if Hamas was to lay down their arms, there would be peace in that area. But if Israel was to lay down their arms, there would be mass genocide. What do you think about that?
That's literally the opposite of what is actually happening in every situation. Like, you can say that, but in practicality, anytime there's a ceasefire, like, I'm not going to say every time, but it seems frequently that there's a ceasefire and then Israel starts shit up again. Like, that's happened like multiple times over the last 2 years. 3 years? Has it been 3 years since October 7th? Jesus Christ, I'm gonna kill myself.
Yeah, I mean, almost every ceasefire has been destroyed by Israel, like Lux said. But I think the question lacks nuance. Even Hamas has said literally all they want is for Israel to release all of the war prisoners that it's had for years, for decades, right? They want a permanent ceasefire, and they want the Gaza Strip to have sovereignty. That's been all they've been claiming especially since October 7th, but even before that, right? There used to be something in Hamas's, I don't remember if it's called a charter or a constitution or what it is, that was like, we want Israel gone, like, right? Talking about the Israeli state, but they removed that like in the 90s. 2000s, early 2000s. I don't remember when it was specifically removed. But most of the time when you hear these, it's the same thing when people talk about Iran and how Iran used to be like, well, death to America, when like what Iran was saying at the time. And we know this from like what the actual statements of the people in charge were, where we want an end to US imperialism. And we think the only way to do that would be to end America's like country as a whole. Not we want to kill all civilians, because they've said time and time again, we have no problem with people, with the civilians, right, in America. We have no problem with that, right? We have absolutely none. Our problem is with American imperialism, because look at what American imperialism did to our country.
Okay. Fair point. The main thing, not to do a complete 180, but the main thing I wanted to talk about was Latin America. I'll just make a quick statement on that. I was in the Coast Guard for 8.5 years. Half of that was doing search and rescue and migrant operations in the Caribbean. Every day we went out, it was constantly getting Cubans. I would speak to them on a daily basis. I would live with them on the boat. They would have to stay outside because detainee at that point, but I would have long conversations with them. I lived in Miami because of this. And living in Miami, I also lived with a lot of Venezuelans. My roommates were Venezuelan. I think that the majority of Hispanic people, me being Mexican, I think that the majority of Hispanics agree with what happened in the situation with Maduro. And even though right now what's going on with Cuba is hard, but I do believe, and still speaking with them, I think they see it as a light at the end of the tunnel. I have no issue with what's happening with Cuba. I don't think they do either. Cuba as in like the Cuban population living in South Florida, and with the communication that they have with their family members in Cuba. I'm Mexican. I'm going to make a hard statement. I believe that there should be military action done on the Mexican cartels. I do think there is a popular belief on this. If you were to ask this question years ago, it would have been the opposite. But I think now what's a fad in Mexico is small town mayors calling out the Mexican government, publicly saying on news outlets that they do want American drone strikes on the cartels. So I have no issue with what happened with Maduro. I definitely have no issue with what's going on in Cuba. They see it as a light at the end of the tunnel. They've lived years of hard life in
But wait. Yes, you can this is what I'm talking about. Like, we have to talk about the context here. Why has Cuba been the way it is? There's like one very specific reason.
I'm going to assume you're going to say sanctions.
Not just sanctions, but sanctions and embargoes. Like, Cuba's economically the way it is because of the United States. We openly admitted, right, when Cuba decided to seek sovereignty, and I can give you all the full timeline if you want. But when Cuba decided to seek sovereignty, what the U.S. decided to do was, we can't have this because Cuba is beneficial to us. That area is beneficial. We want it. Specifically, what happened is Cuba did a revolution. This was in 1898, right? They did a revolution to get rid of Spain. Spain was occupying Cuba. Cuba didn't like this. And the U.S. said, hey, Cuba, we're going to help you. So this is 1898. December 10th was the end of the revolution to kick out Spain. And Cuba was happy. And then on January 1st of 1888 to 1889, on January 1st of 1889, America took over. America said, well, now it's our turn, right? Mm-hmm. We're now going to occupy you. And they did. They controlled, by 1950, the U.S. controlled most of Cuba. They controlled 90% of all electric and phone services, 70% of all arable land, 2/3 of all the sugar production, 50% of all railways. Like, they destroyed this country. Cuba's literacy rates fell to 2/3 of the population were illiterate. Life expectancy was down to 59 years. So Cuba was like, we've had enough. We've had enough. They led a revolution. This was Castro. The U.S. didn't like it, so they decided to try to back Batista, which is a dictator, a literal dictator, right? So Cuba went through all this, and then the United States said, okay, well, we see here that Cuba loves Castro predominantly, and we're not going to be able to get Cuba back by just getting them to hate Castro. So in let me see if I have the document. I think it's this one, the memorandum. Here it is. The memorandum from the Deputy Assistant Secretary of State for Inter-American Affairs to the Assistant Secretary of State for Inter-American Affairs. This was in 1960. The U.S. said, okay, majority of Cubans support Castro. There's no effective political opposition in the time. Fidel Castro seems to condone communism, which the U.S. hated, right? And they said, and I quote, if our goal is to get back Cuba, the policy we have to adopt to do that should be a complete decimation of Cuba's economy. We should destroy their economy. They said, I can read the specific. They said, every possible means should be undertaken promptly to weaken the economic life of Cuba. If such a policy is adopted, it should be the result of a positive decision, which will call forth a line of action which, while as adroit and inconspicuous as possible, makes the greatest inroads in denying money and supply to Cuba, to decrease monetary real wages, to bring about hunger, desperation, and overthrow of the government. So their goal was, let's destroy Cuba to get to the point where Cubans overthrow their own government. And now we're doing it again in Iran. Except this time we're not doing it conspicuously, right? The U.S. tried to do it secretly before. Now they're just like, fuck it, we're going to do it.
Right. 100% I agree with almost everything that you said. As far as, let's say you're not on a specific side, or I'm not a specific side. Let's just talk about the governments of both, just looking down at both governments. The U.S. is not going to back down. They're going to continue to hit on communism. And Cuba, they're not going to back down. They're going to continue to stay communist because if they really cared, they would just say, fuck it, let's just abandon. There's no the reason why they were communists at the time is because they thought it could actually work. The Soviet Union also fell for a reason, but at the time they had the backing of the Soviet Union, and then which was one of the reasons why the United States did not want communism that close to us. But now in modern day era, Cuba should know the U.S. is not going to back down. They're not going to want communism that close to the United States. Let's just abandon it.
So these people should just lose their sovereignty?
No.
I'll let you ask the question. I just feel like that's where it leads. Go ahead.
No. Do you think that at some point the government of Cuba should just say, fuck it, let's just play the U.S. game. Let's just move on to full capitalist democracy. Let's make this a tourist destination. Don't you think at some point they just need, because again, I agree with you, sanctions, and I actually do not disagree with you on the stuff that you mentioned, but there's some point where you just have to, I hate saying it, but they have to drop it. They have to play the game. And me, like how I started off with my statement, speaking with these Cubans that we would pick up off the water, which by the way, 2/3 get lost, or they'll run out of supplies, and they'll get happy when they see us. They agree with that. They know about the sanctions. They know what caused this mess, but they're also angry.
Wait, but you're admitting you're agreeing with what I'm saying. The reason why the Cuban people are, and first of all, it's not even the truth that I work with this group. They're called the Hands Off Cuba Coalition, and they do regular mission trips to Cuba, like interview everyday Cubans, talk to everyday Cubans. Like I've been working with them for like a year now. The this idea that like everyday Cubans are like against their own government is not true. They know what the reason for the hardship is, and yeah, you could say like, listen, yeah, it's the case that the Cuban government and the Cuban people the Cuban government should, like, if they want to help their people, they should get in line with the U.S. But what message is that saying? The message that's saying is the U.S. basically can swing its dick around and make any decision they want for any country, which is just imperialism, which I'm against.
Correct, but at that point, when you get a country that big, they're all going to do it. The Soviet Union tried to do it. China's currently trying to do it. It's one of those things that you just can't stop. You just have to. And the only thing is, you have to go with the least of all evils. And right now, I think I'd rather go with the country that does not fully own private property. I'd rather go with the form of economy and form of government that doesn't take private property.
Well, but if you're saying we have to go with the least evil, if you're saying we have to go with the least evil, that's not the U.S. The least evil country is not the one that purposely starved another country. The least evil country. You want to know one of the most fucked up things we did? COVID. It was against international law for the U.S. to embargo COVID vaccines. So Cuba was able to get vaccines shipped in. You know what? It wasn't illegal for them to embargo? Syringes. So while Cuba was able to get vaccines into the country, right? They weren't able to get syringes to inject the vaccines because the U.S. was keeping those at lock. I think it's any item that 10% of that item is made in the U.S., the U.S. has total discernment if it goes into Cuba or not. So when we're talking about the less of two evils, I don't know how we can say that the U.S. is the less of two evils in this regard.
Yeah, as far as those syringes, I'm not aware of that. I'll definitely look into that. Definitely interesting.
Yeah, most people aren't aware of all the shit the U.S. has done to Cuba.
No, yeah. What I meant by lesser of two evils was like, what form of economy, what form of government would, in my opinion, would be the less of two evils, and I was saying that as a response
Socialism.
of no, about what you said about the U.S. swinging its dick around. Well, when a country gets big enough, they're all going to do that. They're all going to spread their influence. China's doing that. The Soviet Union tried to do that. Russia is still was still up to recent day having their naval ships go to Cuba, which, I mean, again, Cuba's a sovereign nation. They're allowed to do that. And their coast is outside its international waters. They have full right to do that. But the U.S. is going to try to put their influence. So at some point, what would
you
the best
can I
for the
ask you,
Cuban
Martin?
people?
Can I ask you what you would do
Yeah,
in
go
this same scenario? By the way, Lux, if at any point you want me to shut the fuck up, just say, Jovan, shut the fuck up.
Sure.
If you're in this situation, you're an island country off the coast of a giant nation. Like Cuba and America are so close you can swim, right? So you're this giant,
Yeah.
you're this island nation off the coast of a larger nation. You recently were able to get rid of that other nation from controlling your country, right? Controlling to the point that your people were suffering, right? Because look at what happened post Castro. Cubans' literacy rates are at, and they're still currently at 100%. Their life expectancy shot up at some points. Their life expectancy has been higher than the U.S. They have more doctors per capita than the U.S. Like Fidel Castro, for the faults that he did have, which he did have some, he essentially was able to pull Cuba back from the brink. So you now have this. You now have gotten your country rid of, but the U.S. hasn't gone away. In fact, they've decided now we're going to play harder against you. And here comes this other country, like the USSR, who is like, well, we'll help you. We'll help you from America. You would absolutely take their help. You're like, thanks. Thank you for helping. And the USSR was one of the few countries that would trade with Cuba directly after its revolution. They're one of the few countries that offered Cuba aid and support. Like again, I don't simp for the USSR. I'm not a tanky, but like at least Stalin said, let's help this sovereign nation be a sovereign nation.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I'm like, what would you do? Like if the U.S. Civil War happened and let's say we got the Britain out of the 13 colonies, but they were in the surrounding other areas, and they were like,
okay,
we're still here. We're gonna fuck with you. You would take help.
Yeah, here's my answer to you on what I would do. First, on the two time periods, the 50s with Castro, and then current day era. What would I do in the 50s? In the 50s, it wasn't clear or not whether socialism could survive on its own or not. We did not know that we couldn't even fathom that the Soviet Union could fall. So if I was a Cuban leader in that era, I would 100% take the help of the Soviet Union, because we don't know what we don't know. And I'll be honest with you. Yeah, I would take the help. Me seeing myself as an island nation filled with sugarcane, I think I could do it. I think I would take the help. Now, in today's era, Soviet Union has fallen. China's putting more money into the Bahamas and construction companies with the resorts and all. That's where China's money is going. So then it's not like they're helping Cuba out. Now, in modern day era, what would I do? Yes, it would suck. Yes, I'll be bitter. But if I was president of Cuba at this point, I'm like, fuck it. I'm going to just play the game, accept capitalism, accept democracy. Which, yes, they are democratic. Not really. Democratic.
Well, Cuba is democratic. Their last election had 80% voter turnout. I have the exact numbers. It was 80%, right? Let me just pull it up. Yeah, it was like 80% voter turnout. I'm sorry, it's 95. Since 1976, Cuba's elections have had 95% voter turnout. And then, like, to go even further, 50% of Cuban women are in public office. Or I'm sorry, 50% of Cuba's public office is women. Like, they're a bit more, I would say they're a bit more on the Democratic side. They seem to be doing A-okay. But I feel bad now. We've been talking for a while, and Lux hasn't said much.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's actually
my brain is just
crocheting.
Yeah,
I love these topics. I love getting onto.
Yeah, no, I don't know. The one thing that I've heard in this conversation that made my ears perk up and made me go, hey, wait, is like this idea that Martin, you said that like, well, yeah, sure. When a country gets big enough, it's gonna swing its dick around and like try to, and like, I just find it really interesting that like we've abstracted this in a way that like we don't think about in this type of context that there are people operating that government. And so what you're saying is like, oh yeah, a group of people, when they get enough power, are inevitably going to misuse that power and swagger around and subjugate people and control other people's movements and activities. And I'm like, why? First of all, why do you think that that's an inevitability? That's a pretty pessimistic view of human nature. And also, why would we not then prevent there ever being such a thing as a concentration of power like that to prevent the inevitability of people using that power in harmful ways? Like this is not like a pro-capitalist or pro-state argument that you're making. Like, actually, you're making it look like an inherently bad thing to be like to be capitalist.
No, I can see. I guess what I'm saying is just looking at history and looking at even what, like I mentioned, I'm conservative, but I'm not going to deny that. I mean, George Bush was a warmonger, or I'm not going to deny these things. I just think it's just one of those things that eventually a government, because it's not just one person. If you had a person who was the same, being the only person, being a king, and he was completely pacifist, then good. But I mean, he's still a king. But when we have Congress and when we have this amount of people in government, they're going to debate, and they're going to debate on what they believe and what they believe is good. And naturally, we're going to move on to this power-hungry, dick-swinging type of mentality. I hate it.
Well, let me ask you. Let me ask you one question about that, then, Martin, and then we'll let you go so we can get to some more callers. Let me ask you one question about that. Do you think Luke Skywalker should have just said, "Okay, the Resistance should have just folded and joined the Empire"?
It depends which movie you're on. I mean,
the 3 original movies. Should Luke Skywalker and the Resistance have just given up and said, we're just going to join the Empire, so that way?
No, I do not think so, because there was hope there. But in this situation, what are they still trying to defend? You know,
their country.
Well, their form of economy, and there's nothing to show
not
for
just
it.
That, but their country. Okay, well, I mean, I just feel like if your stance is Luke Skywalker and the Resistance should have fought, then your stance should be that like countries opposing U.S. imperialism should also fight. That's just my
end statement is, I think Cuba can still be a very, very beautiful, rich country with their flag still waving, with their sugar cane still blossoming under a capitalist tourist destination. I think it would be much more beautiful and will promote peace a lot better.
I just want you to know that you have fallen for propaganda, because this is exactly what these kind of authoritarian fascist ideologies sell you. They sell you on the idea of like, everything is going to be so beautiful, but it requires human suffering to be happening under the surface. It's like The Child of Omilas. I don't know if you're familiar with this short story, but basically, you know, you can imagine a utopia, but every utopia, that like the whole point of describing utopia in the media the way that we do is that underneath there has to be some there has to be some kind of suffering in order for this system to be working the way that it is. All these critiques of our
Cuba
system.
saw, like I said earlier, Cuba saw what their suffering was. They saw what America did to them the first time, so they're not willing to let that happen again. But we've been talking for a while, so I think we got to try to get to some of the other callers.
Thank you guys for your time.
Thanks, Martin.
I will say this has been the best call of the day so far.
Yeah. So thank you for that.
W. Martin for that.
All right, later, man.
All right.
Okay. Yeah,
so
we do
Lex,
have
are you ready to hear? So I had to text Jimmy. Jimmy because I remembered that Euro is Jimmy banned Euro from the line because Euro decided to drop N-bombs in Jimmy's DMs. So I was like, okay, I got to make sure. So I texted Jimmy, and Jimmy said Euro can come on voice, not video. So if Euro's calling, Euro we can answer it. I'm just letting you know. The call number 20 is Euro. So we can absolutely answer it and have the debate. I doubt it's going to be fruitful on his side, but because it's voice, Jimmy has allowed that. But I did have to make sure, since this is the Line's channel, not my channel. If he was calling on my channel, I wouldn't have given a fuck. So if you wanna see,
I don't know anything about this guy except what you have said in this call. So I'm like,
oh, he's hilarious. He's
Okay.
hilarious. I put out like a 40-minute video, because he had put out like a fact check of me and Jimmy's debate, and half of his fact check was misrepresenting me and Jimmy's argument. So then I put out a video proving that half of his fact check was misrepresenting our argument.
sure.
And that one video made like 4 times the views his video made. It's so funny. But yeah, he's line 20 if you want to bring him up.
Sure. Yeah. I'm excited. So yeah, the name that he gave was earache. The pronouns he gave, well, I'm just making an assumption here, was I'm a dude. The self-described
Doubtful.
MAGA from Florida. Yeah, doubtful. Euro. Is this Euro? Hello, because you're live with Jovan and Luxander. What's up?
Hello, this is your own travel. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Unfortunately.
So Jimmy had to talk to the boss, to the guy that owns him or whatever, owns the brand. And he
Did
said it's
Jimmy have to talk to the boss? Well, Jimmy's not
No,
here.
did you have to talk to the boss? Did you have to talk to the boss?
Did I have to ask Jimmy if I could bring someone Jimmy banned on Jimmy's channel to Jimmy's channel? Yeah. Yes, because it's
I
Jimmy's
thought he
channel.
said he
Just
had
like
morals. He's not gonna
if I
platform
wanted
a
to
quote-unquote
invite
racist.
someone, just like if I wanted to invite someone to Jimmy's house, I'd have to ask Jimmy, "Hey, can I invite this person to your house?" Question mark.
Do you not have your own show?
Already floundering. Euro, you come into
You
my
not have your
chat
own
during
show.
my own
Are you
show
anti-Semitic?
every day.
Are you anti-Semitic?
Hold on.
Are you
We'll get
anti-Semitic?
there. Euro, you come into my own chat
Are you anti-Semitic?
on my own
yes
show
or no?
every day.
What
How
year
come you
did
only
the Arabs
decided to
come
call?
into Judea?
Oh, here we go.
What year did the
Here we
Arabs come
go.
into Judea? What year?
Here
What
we
year?
go. Here we go.
What year? Why
Hey,
can't you
I
answer
just-
the question? You're
oh,
trying
hold
to
on, I
Google
need to
search
update
it?
the lower third.
Chat GPT real
hey-
quick. What year
hey, Euro.
did the
Hey,
Arabs
Euro.
come to
I
Judea?
wanted to ask you a
He can't.
What
question.
year
He
did
can't
the Arabs come
I
into
wanted to ask you a
Israel?
quick
Answer the question.
I don't-
can't answer it.
I don't know you because
You
we've
don't
never
know.
spoken before.
You don't know.
But
So how
I just
can you
wanted
say
to
this
ask
is
you,
genocide?
hey, real quick, I just wanted to ask you, have you ever had a
Why he
like
looked it
a
up?
human? Hey,
Why he
Euro.
Google searches it?
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
worked.
let him
Yeah,
Google
he's.
search it. Let him look up all the facts. Why you do the talking?
I've never talked
Let
to you
Jovan
before.
use little
I want to get to
keyboards.
know what's
What
going
year?
on.
How is it
I
a
want to know the
genocide? You don't
context.
even know when the Arabs came.
Okay, so you're muted because you just want to have a conversation with Jovan, but the problem is that actually I'm the primary host today. My name's Luxander. Hi, we've never spoken before, but I'm gonna ask you questions and I'm gonna interject because I also am here. So hi, Euro. I wanted to ask you a quick question. I'm gonna unmute you because I want to say. Can we say hello real quick? You and I. Let's say
So now
hello.
you're
I've never
muting
spoken to you
me.
before.
Okay, so now
Yeah.
you're muting.
That's what
'Cause-
happens to the live.
Because I'm trying to
When they
talk to
can't
you
answer
and
your
you're just
questions, they
talking
mute you.
consistently. I'm like, hi. We didn't even get to say
So
hello
you're
to
not
each
gonna
other.
let me ask you a question.
Will you say hello to me and acknowledge that I am also here?
Yeah, I
Because
said hello.
Jovan,
You never introduced yourself. That's kind of rude.
I actually
you
did
wouldn't
say
stop
hi.
talking,
I
Euro.
said welcome to the show. You're live
Yeah,
on the
you said
line with
hi. I said
Luxander and
hi.
Jovan. That's literally how I open every call. But anyway, hi. My name's Luxander, and I guess you're Euro. And I wanted to ask really quick: have you ever, before this moment, had a human conversation with another person?
What kind of a question is that? That sounds like a lowbrow something to ask somebody.
That's Dusty, by the way. Euro's got Dusty with him, I think.
Oh, there's two of them. There's two of them. Okay, because the thing is that you came in here and you jumped conversations, like topics from one to the next, to the next, to the next, and then you wouldn't let us respond. And so it just kind of seems like you've never had a conversation with another person.
I asked you a question. It's been about 3.5 minutes now, and you haven't answered it. So
Have
do you know
you ever
when
had
the-
a
do you know when
conversation
the
with
Arabs
another
came into
person?
Israel?
So they can't answer the question.
Euro, the debate has not started yet.
Okay, when does it start? When you decide?
Yeah,
When
it's our
Lux
show.
decides,
So
Lux
yeah,
is
This
the
is a
primary
debate
host.
show.
I am actually in charge today.
Okay.
So, like,
Okay, so
you,
we don't get to ask any questions. You get to ask all the questions, and you're just not going to answer anything we have to ask because you don't have
I was
the
about
answers
to
the
ask you
questions.
what you wanted to talk about, but you won't shut the fuck up.
Israel. Israel.
Impulse control is hard.
I
And
know,
also,
it's
you
so
guys
difficult.
are very friendly to your guests. You don't just do that to me. You do this to all of your call-ins. You're
we just
rude
had
as
a
fuck.
30-minute friendly conversation with somebody.
Yeah, you just
You were
came in here
listening to
and
the
you
whole
were
thing.
you were motor mouthing for 90 solid seconds until the point that I had no choice but to mute you because I could not get a word in edgewise. Of course, I'm gonna treat you like you're unserious because you're coming in here acting like a fucking idiot.
Well, that's fine because we got our own show going here, and everybody's hearing everything going on, and they can make their own decisions.
I know your 200-person show
I'm
is doing well for you.
familiar.
Let's
Hey,
go ahead.
it
Let's
grows.
get into the conversation. It rose because I'm here. Please, let's get into the conversation. Euro, ask whatever question you want to ask.
What year did the Arabs come to Judea?
It was like early within the first 1,000 years. I don't know the exact date. It was like 1,000 something years ago, probably like 1,500 years ago. I don't know the exact date. What does that have to do with anything?
So the Arabs are the settlers then. So the Arabs are the settlers then, correct?
So you're saying it's okay for a country to remove people that settled there?
No, that's not
Is that
what
what
I'm
you're
saying.
saying?
We're getting there, but I'm just asking you a question. No, that's not the point I'm trying to make.
Yes, at one point, Arab people settled that land, yes.
Okay, so the Jews have been there for thousands of years. The Jews were there originally, yes or no?
Was anyone
Originally,
there
we don't
originally?
know, we don't know 100% originally. We know that
Okay, before the Arabs.
the Israelites were
Is that
there
fair?
after, well, their claim is after the Exodus, but historically there is no proof of the Exodus of the Bible. So their claim is that they showed up and made Israel during the Exodus. When realistically what happened is they were a part of Canaan and they broke off from the Canaanites to form their own nation. I don't understand what your question is. Do you have a thesis statement
so
for this?
they're there before the Arabs. So how is it a genocide when October 7th happens and the Arabs attack on the land that Israel allowed them to live on for so long? How is that a genocide? What is a genocide in your opinion? What's the definition of a genocide? What's a genocide?
So I would use the UN's definition of genocide, and I would consider it a genocide because the UN Commission found that Israel was engaging in four of the five activities of genocide.
And what are those activities?
It's like mass killing of a group, relocation of a group.
They're doing that to Israel. They're trying to do that to Israel.
So you didn't want an answer to your question? Got it. No problem. You can talk.
No, I'm just saying.
You didn't want an answer to your question.
They're trying to do to Israel. Go ahead.
He's not beating the accusations that he's never spoken to a human being before today.
No, he's not. Wow,
let
me ask you a question.
Pivoting. I feel like you're getting cornered because you keep trying to
what do you think a pivot is? What do you think a pivot is?
We're still making a side comment.
You're trying to get off topic and you're trying to avoid questions.
What are you talking about? I've answered every question you've asked me. Point me to one question you've asked me I haven't answered.
Are you just maybe struggling with the fact that I'm heckling you while Jovan is taking your conversation very seriously?
God damn.
That's what's happening. That's what I'm doing to you.
I'm heckling a little bit because you came in here and you immediately started acting like a fool. And so again, we're still operating under the assumption that you are not a very serious person because you are not acting like a serious person.
So what are the other points of it being a genocide?
I know you have it pulled up on
Google, so just go ahead and tell us. Yeah,
you can let Jovan finish his statement this time. That would be great.
I have it pulled up in my source document because, I like to make sure I'm correct about the shit I say. So it's killing members of the group, causing serious bodily injury or harm to or mental harm to the group, deliberately inflicting conditions of life calculated to bring about physical destruction of the group, imposing measures intended to prevent births, and forcibly transferring children. The UN has said that Israel is committing 4 of the 5 of these things, and they've given a full report where they've detailed how Israel is committing 4 of the 5 of these things. How are they committing birth? So they're not committing birth. Did you listen to what I said?
What's the difference between a genocide and a war? What makes this a genocide instead of a war? And don't just say because the point you just said.
They are deliberately killing members of the group. They are deliberately causing serious bodily or mental harm to the group. They are deliberately inflicting conditions of life calculated to bring about physical destruction of the group, and they're imposing measures intended to prevent births of the group. That's what makes this a genocide.
Yeah, that's
different
called
from
war.
A war because a war.
Like war.
No, that's not called war because a war doesn't intentionally target members of a group.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't.
You go to war with Russia, you unalive Russians. You go to war with China.
When you go to war with Russia,
Chinamen.
you kill Russian civilians. When you go to war with Russia, do you deliberately target Russian civilians?
Almost die in every
I didn't
single
know.
war. Name a
Listen
war
to the
in last
question I'm
20
answering.
years
Listen to the
where
question I
civilians
asked you.
didn't die.
Listen to the question I asked you. Listen to the question I asked you. Do you deliberately target civilians?
What evidence do you have of that? And don't say
do you
some
want the
Israeli
whole
news
report?
article
I'll pull up
that's
the entire
against,
report. No,
Zionism.
I'll pull up the entirety of the report, dude. There's an entire report on this from the International Court of Justice.
Yes, but they don't have any evidence because they've been prosecuting this.
Yes, they do. It's in the report. What are you talking about? It's in the report.
Prosecuting this case?
That's not how international courts work. That's not how international courts work. What are you talking about?
Okay, how do they work then?
You think international courts are going to call up Israel and say, "Hey, come to trial"? You think that's what happens?
I think they're going to make some claim.
God.
I think they're going to make some claim that international law is being violated.
Unbelievable. I'm going to pull up the report, the entirety of the report. This is from the UN Independent International Commission of Inquiry on the Occupied Palestinian Territory. And in it, they have multiple direct sources for how Israel is doing all of these things. How many of them do you want? Well, 4 of these things. They're not doing the 5th.
So they don't have to meet all the qualifications then? And do you think Israel's controlling our country?
No, they just need to meet a majority of them.
What's the majority of them?
What did you? 4 of 5. A majority is anything more than half.
3 out of 5
is
would be a
anything more
majority
than
out
half.
of 5.
Anything more than half is a majority. I said 4 of 5. They're doing 4 of 5, which would be a majority, because a majority of 5 is 2. Well, technically it's 2.5.
Okay, 3
majority
out
of 5 is 2.5. Yes,
okay,
because 3 is a majority of 5. 3 is a majority. Do you know what a majority is?
3 out of 5 of the things and is considered a genocide.
That would be a majority of things. Yes.
Yeah, that's called a majority.
Okay. Well, do you think Israel controls the country?
Do I think Israel controls the country of Gaza?
Yeah. Do you think Benjamin Netanyahu controls Donald Trump?
Oh, that's
what are we talking about? Do they control this country? Why? That's off top. That's not what we're talking about.
He said the country and meant
This
America.
Is all about
That's
Israel.
fucking hilarious.
So now we're moving. I thought you wanted the things they were doing. Now we're moving conversations to.
I just watched you debate 3 different topics. You can't answer the question.
Everything that I talked about with the last person was on topic. This was a complete topic shift.
This is all about
but no,
Israel.
I don't think the U.S. I don't
control Trump.
Jesus Christ! Yeah, here we are.
Yes.
Cool. Let's now talk. Let's now talk about a different. Let's now talk about a different topic. No, I don't think Israel controls the U.S.
Not a different topic.
Okay.
You went from talking about Iran to talking about Cuba.
Do you want an answer?
You went from talking about Iran to talking about Cuba.
Because I know it's hard for you to follow conversations. I know that that's difficult for you.
But this is all the same subject. I know you're trying to pivot and ignore my questions.
We were just talking about
for all my questions.
The subject we were just talking about is Israel committing a genocide?
My questions. I know.
He's literally trying to answer, and you won't shut the fuck up.
Like literally, I've answered. Point me. Okay, wait, no, I'm not going to continue. I'm not going to continue until you point to me one question you've asked me this stream that I haven't answered. Point me to one question I have not answered. Can you do it? Can you point to one? Exactly. So now you're sitting here going, well, now you were not answering. I've answered every question you've asked me, Euro. Every single one of them.
So just to clarify,
no,
you think Benjamin Netanyahu controls
Jesus
Trump?
Christ. No, I don't think Israel controls the U.S. I think the U.S. fights in Israel's interest because the U.S. has a vested interest in keeping Israel as a nation for their strategic placement in the Middle East. God damn, dude.
Well, your initial, I can go back to the footage. We're recording too. I mean, you said yes. I asked you, do you think Benjamin Netanyahu controls Trump?
No, I didn't.
Maybe because you started talking in the middle of when Jovan was talking, and so maybe he was saying yes because he was in the middle of fucking talking, and you can't stop interrupting.
Yes, bro. Like, doesn't listen for an answer to the question, then claims I answered the question wrong. Dustley, nobody cares. You're not contributing anything to this.
And neither is the person.
This is my idea. This is my idea.
Amazing. That doesn't mean you're contributing. Any other riveting questions to ask us, Euro?
Try not to start a fire rubbing those 2 neurons together.
Did I say Lux was contributing to the conversation?
Every 2 seconds.
Did I say Lux was contributing to the conversation?
Did I say Dustley was contributing to the conversation?
No, I said he was. God damn, dude, you're so stupid.
Why are you getting so triggered?
And I said your buddy was
This is fucking
You're
hilarious. This
You're
is so
easily triggered.
funny. I can't wait for
that.
this
You're very
video.
emotional.
I low-key
You're
can't
very
wait for this
emotional.
video. Euro, are you going to ask me more questions, or was that all?
Well, so you don't think the Jews are controlling the country? You don't think the Jews are controlling the banking industry? You don't think they're Jewish politicians? What do you think about AIPAC? You think AIPAC is controlling America with Israeli dollars?
I think AIPAC has a vested interest in keeping pro-Israel sentiment, so they get politicians elected who promote pro-Israel sentiment. That does not mean this is literally directly answering the question.
That wasn't the question.
This is literally a direct answer of the question. Are you two functionally stupid, or was stupid thrust upon you? Are you is stupidness something that like you guys developed over time? I'm literally in the process of answering the question. You asked me if AIPAC control. Oh my god, there's no way, dude. There's no way, dude. This is fucking crazy.
The question was, does AIPAC influence American politicians with Israeli dollars?
And what was my answer?
Again,
what was my answer? What was my answer? Wait, what did I say in return?
You didn't talk anything about the Israeli dollars.
What did I say specifically? What did I say?
You didn't talk about the Israeli dollars.
Said sentiment.
What did I say specifically? You don't even know. You didn't even listen. You didn't even listen. You couldn't repeat what I said if I fucking paid you. Could you? What did I say specifically? It was not
relating to my question. Your answer did not relate to my question.
What did you say? What did I say? What did I say? If it didn't relate to your question, tell me what I said. Go ahead.
It doesn't relate. You said,
didn't mention anything about
what did I say? What did I say?
You said that the politicians get influence for Israel's best interest because they want Israel to, be a country and whatnot. So now
how does
answer my question about the dollars.
How does AIPAC influence politicians? They're a
by getting
PAC. They're a super
elected. That's
PAC.
what you said.
How do they get them elected
if
they're
a PAC? Get their money from?
What does a PAC do, Euro? What does a PAC do, Euro? Holy shit, you're so stupid. You're so stupid, bro.
Answer it.
He can't answer it. We already know
so
what
dumb.
Do. Everyone does. Where
so
does
then when you
say, get its money from? Do you know?
A large portion of their money is from Israel.
No, it's not. 0 of their dollars is from Israel. So you just got caught in a lie.
Brother.
You just got caught.
This is
you don't know what you're
publicly available information, isn't it?
You in a trap, red-handed. $0 from Israel goes to AIPAC. You don't know what
did you pull that from?
About.
Incorrect.
So do I win that round?
Where did you get that information from? I'm curious because I don't know a lot about this. So could you just, for the informational purposes, tell me where you know?
Registered foreign lobbying group. Do you want to know why they're not a registered foreign lobbying group?
The problem is Euro believes every conspiracy theory except that Israel is pumping money to AIPAC.
They don't receive money directly from Israel. That's why.
I promise you they do.
No, because I've done research on things. I don't just assume trends online. You thought that AIPAC received money from Israel, but it doesn't.
Can I ask then how you know that AIPAC,
because
famously an Israeli lobbyist group, doesn't take dollars from Israel? What?
Because they do lobby for pro-Israel interests. That's all true. That's all true. I'm not denying that. But they don't receive any money directly from Israel. And are there any any dual citizens in Congress?
Hey, Euro, how do you know that though? Like, if I wanted to learn, if I wanted to read about that, where would I go?
Look up AIPAC Tracker. Look up AIPAC Tracker. This is all the PACs. They have to share where they get their funding from. That's public information.
Who are the private donors that pay to AIPAC? Who are the private donors that pay to AIPAC? AIPAC is funded primarily through private individuals.
Jewish people. Who are those true, but none of them are Israeli. None of them come from the Israeli government.
Answer the question I asked you. Answer the question I asked you.
Who are the people that donate to AIPAC?
Yep.
Jewish people. Majority.
Answer the question I asked you. Who are their specific large funding donors?
Yeah, of course.
Who are they? You got so upset that I wasn't answering the question you asked. Now, why are you avoiding?
I don't have a whole list of all the fundings of PACs, dude. It's a massive list. It might be thousands of people on that list. So no, I'm not going to have a list off the top of my head of who exactly the big funders you want me to mention that fund AIPAC are.
Yeah, because
I
know.
You think
I know you don't. I know you don't. So let's just go through it. Let's just go through it.
I admit it.
So
you don't
the
know
reason,
what you're talking about.
stop.
You act
Wait,
like
no,
you
I'm
do
about
know
to.
what you're talking about.
I'm about to dog you in this shit. I'm about to dog you and make you look like a fucking dumbass.
You're literally reading off Google right now.
AIPAC.
Yes,
so
you have
AIPAC.
the list of funders
There are. I don't give a fuck if I have the list, Euro. It just proves you didn't do your research. So AIPAC is primarily funded. AIPAC,
right
I don't use Gemini. I don't use ChatGPT. You fucking pussy. I know how to do my research without those tools.
Listen, I'm not. By the way, if you
I know how to do my research without those tools, you coward. Are you gonna let me? Are you good? Euro, look at your facial hair and look at mine, and don't sit here and say you want to have a testosterone check right now. Please, get the fuck out of here. Euro, you're crashing out. Euro, do you want the answer to your question? Why are you avoiding getting this question answered? Why are you avoiding getting this question answered? Why are you avoiding getting this question answered? Why are you avoiding getting this question answered, Euro? Why are you avoiding the answer to this question, Euro?
Because you started talking.
Because you know it's gonna make you look wrong. No, I'm answering the question.
I agreed with what you said. I said probably. I didn't give you a definitive answer.
AIPAC is funded through some of the largest. I'm gonna have to mute you. I'm gonna have to mute you if you don't stop talking.
I'm gonna have to mute. We're used to it.
I'm literally in the middle of talking. I'm literally in the middle of talking. So stop talking. So AIPAC has massive donors. It's like Miriam and Adelson. They have massive donors who have direct profit funding from Israel. Those private donors have contracts paid for them by the Israeli government. They then use that money to fund AIPAC. You think Israel picks those people because those people are willy-nilly randoms? They pick those people because those people can fund AIPAC. So if you sit here and go, Israel doesn't give money to, I'm sorry, was it your turn to talk or was I finished? Which one? That's what I thought. So when you sit here and go, well, AIPAC doesn't fund Israel directly, sure, I would never disagree with that statement.
That's a claim you made.
Like
That's
Israel,
no, it's not. And they don't even fund them indirectly.
No, it's not. No, it isn't. No, it's not the claim I made. If we need to rewind the tape, I'll rewind the tape. If we need to rewind the tape, I'll rewind the tape. If we need to rewind the tape, I'll rewind the tape. If we need to rewind the tape, I'll rewind the tape. If we need,
you said Israel
because
gives money
they
to
do it.
AIPAC.
Did I say they directly do it or indirectly do it?
You didn't say they indirectly did it. You never said they indirectly did it.
Exactly. I didn't say they directly did it either. All I said was that all I said, Euro.
There's no
God, you're
proof
so bad
of
at
that.
this.
You're saying
so
a
bad
Jewish woman that received money from Israel for doing business used that same money and gave it to AIPAC. That's not using money to Israel. It's her money.
You're so bad at this. You're so bad at this. The reason you have to keep talking right now.
She can do
the
what
reason
she
you
wants
have
with
to
her
keep
money.
talking right now is because you know
anymore.
you'll be fucking clowned if you don't stop.
Are you
That's why
let
you
me
keep
respond
talking.
or not?
That's why. Was I done? You can respond when I'm finished. When I'm finished, then you can respond.
Shut the fuck up and
when I'm finished, then you can respond. I'm not done.
Am
I done?
Guys?
No,
I
exactly.
Understand.
Because I wasn't done, you fucking jabroni. God damn,
you lost
dude.
that entire round, and now you're trying to cope with the loss. It's okay. I understand.
have not.
There's no proof of Adelson receiving money from Israel and then funding that money directly back to AIPAC.
Yes, there is.
Yes,
there is.
We agree on something.
Yes,
when Jimmy gives you money, when Jimmy pays you, that is now your money. That is not Jimmy's money. So when Israel pays Adelson, that is now her money. That is not Israel's money.
This is so embarrassing. This is so embarrassing.
That's how money works. When Jimmy pays you, that
let me just make sure of something.
Let me make sure of something. Adelson's money.
Let me make sure of something. So when I get money from George Soros to do my lives and I use that money to fund my lives, that's not George Soros funding my lives, right?
If George Soros gave money to Dustley and then Dustley decided he wanted to drop you $1,000 in super chat,
why didn't you answer the question?
That is now Dustley's money. That is why
didn't you answer the question I asked? Why didn't you answer the question I asked?
Because that is not a one-on-one.
Why didn't you answer the question I asked?
Yes, it is.
Accurate comparison. Yes, it is. It's a 100% accurate comparison.
Because the money
if George
is
Soros pays,
answer
the question. If George Soros pays me, and then I use that money that he pays me to fund BLM, did George Soros fund BLM?
Well, George Soros is oh, no, you funded BLM because you made that decision. Did George Soros tell you to send that money there, or did you make that decision on your free will?
Embarrassment,
did you make that
bro.
decision
What
on your
an
free will?
Or the money,
what an absolute embarrassment. God damn,
did
dude.
you make
You're
that
so bad
decision
at
on your
this.
free will? You're a guy that would give money to Black Lives Matter no matter what. So I
You think Miriam, you think Miriam Adelson, you think Miriam,
you would do it on
I just want to confirm. I just want to confirm. You think Miriam Adelson, who runs a pro-Netanyahu Israeli newspaper, you think she is not influenced by Netanyahu? That's what I'm understanding here. You think she's not influenced by Netanyahu? Yes, I've already stated this.
How? What evidence do you have?
The evidence that he went to war with Iran off of what Netanyahu said. The evidence that he went to speak with Netanyahu, and then we were at war with Iran a week later. God damn, you two are like the dumbest people I've ever met, bro.
And it's not because of Benjamin
Why are you so rude and mean?
Because he's salty, he's angry, he's emotional.
Why are you such babies?
This is
Who cares?
for him. He doesn't have any other way to get his emotions out there in the world.
You have been crashing out. You've been crashing out since you called in.
You've been crashing out the entire time. Not one single time have I called you any other curse words other than a
But
fat
you have
fuck.
been screaming. Like,
You've
I'm
been
legitimately,
crashing out
like,
the
and I mean this,
entire time.
Euro, I mean this. I'm genuinely concerned.
You're a crash dummy. You're just here to crash out. You're not even here to
I
debate.
am in the middle
You're
of
just here
talking.
to crash out.
So here's the thing, Euro. I haven't been contributing to this conversation, so it doesn't make any sense for you to tell me that I've been crashing out. I've just been silently sitting here making faces and listening to you crash the fuck out. Listen, since you called in, since the moment you called in, you have been screaming to the point where I'm legitimately like, and I'm trying to like reach out to you as a human being right now. I genuinely am concerned for your blood pressure. Like, I genuinely think that you should sit down and take a few breaths and maybe like eat a salad, you know, maybe try some like 0 sugar soda to replace the soda that you're probably drinking. Cause like, it's not healthy. The headspace that you're in, the headspace that you're in is not healthy. And I really think that you just need to like, just recenter yourself, maybe go outside and like take a walk and chill the fuck out, because you have genuinely been crashing out since you got here. And it's like funny on one hand, but on the other hand, it's like not funny, because I think that you might just like suddenly have a heart attack in the middle of this conversation, or like pop a blood vessel in your brain because you just will not stop screaming. So I'm not going to bring you back on, because this has been a dumb fucking conversation where you have made an incredible fool of yourself the entire time. And we have a couple more callers to get to. So we're going to do that. Bye. Jesus.
I warned you.
I was just along for the ride for that one. Listen. That was crazy. I'm like, is he okay?
No, he's not.
That's got to be exhausting.
No, he genuinely is not okay.
I know that I get exhausted after 3 hours of talking, and I don't even have to be screaming the entire time. And he was just mauling from the moment we picked up the phone.
Well, because Euro's strategy is, if I talk enough that no one can get a word in edgewise, then I can never be wrong.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh gosh. I guess lines technically are still open. I mean, do we want to just like knock out these two and then maybe super chats after? We could close the lines for now.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. What are we brushing up? Oh yeah, because we only have an hour till after dark. Yeah.
So yeah, by the way, don't forget, next, you're going to be sent over to, I think it's Forrest and Austin Archer tonight. So that'll be a fun little conversation in which I will not have to talk to anybody, which is great. No, that's not even true. I'm going to have to screen later.
Somebody in my chat did ask me to finish the point I was making about AIPAC money. Sure, I'll just do it real quick. There are a bunch of wealthy donors who have direct ties to Israeli government contracts. Like, they get money directly from the Israeli government. And if you think that they're not getting those contracts by pumping pro-Israeli sentiment through AIPAC, like, I don't know what world you're living in. I would say the same thing. They're Chinese government super PACs that probably indirectly get their money from China, right? Like, it's just so silly to be like, oh, they're definitely not AIPAC, or Israel is not paying AIPAC at all. Like, it's silly. Like, sure, directly, nothing on paper, because it would be illegal to do that.
Yeah.
But if you think that money isn't coming from people with direct ties to Israel, you're a fucking lunatic.
I feel like there's a really basic lack of ability to understand like cause and effect going on there. Like the transitive property maybe, like but math, that's got to be hard for a person like Euro. I'm sorry about
no idea.
The education system in the South is not so great.
I don't know where the motherfucker lives.
I mean, he sounds Southern sometimes when he's not screaming. The accent actually comes through a little bit, but let me tell the screener.
Oh, that we're hopping these last calls, and then we're doing
Yeah,
supers?
You can like just get out of here and everything. Don't want to like
one of
have
them's
him hanging around.
our dear friend Billy.
Yeah, let's do that one first. You've been waiting for the longest. We're going to talk to Billy, him, who's a leftist from Texas who wants to talk about anarcho-communism. Billy, you're live with Luxander and Jovan. How's it going?
Hi, Jovan. Jovan, hi, Luxander. Good to talk with you. I just want to say that last call was a bit painful, and I'm a bit of a student of history, so I think it's really important to point out the fact that the people, the Jews of Israel, were basically kicked out of Israel about 133 AD by Emperor Hadrian, and they were not in Israel when the Arab conquest of the Levant happened. And then the people who were in Palestine
Can you remind me of the
World
date
War II
of can you remind me of when like the Arab population came into the area? Because I'm like 90% sure it's between 0 and 1,000, but I don't know the actual number.
Yeah, so the area was conquered from Rome around 643 AD during the Arabian conquest of the Levant. So that would be when it really came into effect. But again, it was taken from Rome / the Eastern Roman Empire at the time. Because
I do think it's always interesting
fallen apart.
And we didn't get into it because he like pivoted to fucking who controls it. I do think it's interesting when we talk about this, like people are like, well, Israel had left like the region for thousands of years, but they still have claim to that region. Yet if you asked any of these people if indigenous Americans have claims to America, they're going to say no.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. It's a completely ridiculous, fallacious argument to say that they still have it. The reason why Israel exists is because the Western nations after World War II decided that we, need to do something to not have Jewish people in our countries, but we don't want to kill them all after what Germany did. So we're just going to kind of put them back to where they were originally 1,500 years ago, which is just, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. And like, I think it's, 60 or 70% of Israel's current population is European Jewish people. So like they have a settled land that they had for hundreds upon thousands of years that they were removed from, that they should probably be given access back to.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, that was basically it. It was like, okay, well, now that we've stopped the Nazis from just wholesale killing them, let's go ahead and support a Jewish nation in historical Israel, and we'll just kind of ship them all out of Western Europe because we don't really still like Jewish people that much, which is entirely part of Christianity, an established, Christendom, so to speak.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
I do think it's always a little funny to Yeah, go ahead with your full topic.
Yeah, it just rankled me when he was saying that, because I'm like, what are you talking about? The Arabs did not go in and kick out the Israeli people. They weren't there anymore at that point. They were taking it from Romans. But no, my question was more on the anarcho-communism thing, because from an ideological perspective, I think it's great. I've moved to supporting that. But I go back again and we've had this kind of conversation before, but like, I don't know. I think there is something intrinsically in human nature in terms of how people react and respond to things that I just think on a broader level, I don't know that it would necessarily work. I think it requires people to be too generous of mind and spirit for that to actually work. And spirit, I'm using that in a non-religious way.
Yeah. Lux, do you want to take this one? Because I feel like I've been talking for a long time this
No,
stream.
you're good. I stepped away for a second, so I didn't hear all of that. But basically what I'm hearing is that basically like the selflessness that would be required in an anarcho-communist framework would be like counteractive to what is natural for human beings.
Yes, I would say basically the entirety of human history has shown that it is counterintuitive to basic human nature to be that selfless that would be required for anarcho-communism.
I mean, I would disagree that that is like fundamental to human nature, because it's like, okay, you know, the alpha male thing and how there was like this whole construct around, you know, alpha male wolves, but the researcher who originally published that research ended up being like, well, actually, this is an unnatural behavior that only presents itself in like these unnatural circumstances of being in captivity. So I don't think that we can judge human behavior on how human behavior operates under constraints such as you must work in order to live. Like you have to work for someone, or you have to be acquiring money in order to secure your basic like things that you need. And since we've been doing that for so much of the last like couple thousand years, I don't think we have an accurate like judge of what human nature is, because when we look prior to that, it seems like, you know, death happened sometimes, but it wasn't like systemic, and that people clearly did live in groups and like they were mutually independent. Like, so it just seems as though when you strip away the things about modern society that create competition, that we tend to live naturally together quite well, like quite easily. It's, I think, that is like unnatural pressures that are causing human behavior that is, it fits in, it's adaptive in that environment. Like it's adaptive to be cutthroat when, you know, you are working in a scarcity situation where if you have something, then someone else doesn't, or if someone else has it, then you don't, versus like a cooperative type system. So I just think that it's like unnatural behavior because of unnatural circumstances.
So I guess I would push back on that a little bit, just in, you know, one of the things that I've always found interesting is our relation to other primates and things like that. And one of the things that I think is really fascinating is the hierarchical structure of monkeys, specifically in those types of tourist locations where they essentially get so much in terms of food and resources because tourists are just feeding them, like to the point that they get unhealthily big and stuff like that. But they still have instinctually that hierarchical structure. And we're not so far off from that. So that's why I wonder how much of what we have is based on the development of our species. You know,
I just might disagree with you that we're not far off that, Billy. Just to say one thing, I might. Yeah, no, I think we're vastly. I mean, just look at how humans acted before capitalism. Look at specifically at like indigenous tribes. Indigenous tribes were largely communal. Like they were mostly communal.
Well, okay, I would agree with that, but how far back would you then say capitalism goes? Because I'm again, not to pick on the Roman Empire too much. It's one of my areas that I find really interesting. But I think back to like people like, oh gosh, who was it? Crassus, who set up a fire department for all of Rome, but you had to pay for it. And if you didn't pay for it and your house was burning down, they just let it burn down. So how far do we consider capitalism going back? Or I guess, would that be proto-capitalism, or how would you consider that?
So I just want to clarify that I don't think that capitalism is the only mechanism that causes unnatural human behavior, because feudalism was clearly not capitalism, and yet it still like was a system in which there were like unhealthy power dynamics and there were abuses of the lower class. So I'm not trying to say that capitalism is the be all end all, like that's the only thing poisoning human nature, but like the fact that we have constructs of power systems where some people are hoarding resources instead of sharing resources, like the people are operating under a mindset that if they don't fight as hard as they can and fuck everybody else over, then someone else is going to fuck them over. Like that type of systemic behavior is not limited to capitalism.
Yeah, I would agree with that, and that's kind of one of those things why I think that it's. I almost think it might be intrinsic human nature from like a biological perspective, that there's just a function in our brain that says, this is what you're going to do. And I don't even necessarily think that it's necessarily conscious for everybody. I almost think it's just an instinctual way. And it comes again from, again, going all the way back to our early ancestors of, yeah, this is how we're going to do it. And you have those small groups, as Jovan pointed out, you know, indigenous people and folks like that who absolutely had those systems, but, you know, what ultimately ended up happening to them? Because these other systems where people are just naturally, well, I don't even know if it's naturally, I don't know if that's the correct term, but where they just go in and they dominate the system. They figure out a way to do that. They amass as much resource as they can in terms of either it's wealth or whatever. And then they basically sweep in and they sweep out all of those other systems. They take it over because they have so much more resource accumulation than those systems that just naturally share it. And again, I do honestly think that on an idealistic level, anarcho-communism is the most ethical, moral way to do it. But I'm thinking more from like a utilitarian perspective of, is this something that would actually be able to be set up? And is it something that would last?
Yeah. So, I mean, I just want to kind of get my thoughts on this, try to express them as best I can, even though I feel like I'm struggling with the words a little bit. But like, if it were human nature to be selfish and competitive and to prioritize hoarding your own resources, then like there are a large number of people who are apparently lacking something fundamental about human nature. Because I don't feel the need to exploit people. I don't feel the need to be in competition with people. I am a very freely sharing person. Like there is an amount of anxiety that I have where I'm like, oh, I can't give too much money to charity or I can't contribute too much to this person's GoFundMe because what if I need this money next month, right? So there is like a scarcity and that my life is threatened that causes me to make some decisions differently than I would normally like to make them. But like I want to have mutually supportive relationships, and that's how I personally want to live my life. And I do go out of my way to help people sometimes. So there are a lot of people like me. And if it were true that human nature was that like cooperation and sharing were unnatural, then like I don't really know how to explain why so many people have a kind and sharing and thoughtful, generous nature. Like even within, I've talked to Republicans who they're not generous people when it comes to taxes, but they are very generous people when it comes to their inner circles, like who they have been able to personally have contact with and deem like worthy of assistance, or like within their own families or whatever. Like, so even within the group of people that is, you know, we think of as being like the power hungry or whatever, the hoarding resources people, even they can be extremely generous with folks within their inner circles. So I just don't know. I really think it's more that there are some bad actors who are just really good at exploiting the system to acquire power and who disrupt like the majority of people's desire to live in a mutually beneficial way. And so many of these things are learned behaviors, right? Like the idea that, you know, you should store away things, you know, the whole like, let's go to the store and buy all the toilet paper mindset is a learned behavior. And I think that we could unlearn it, right? Like there's that like tribe of monkeys that there was like that toxic sludge that all the males ate and died, and then they became a matriarchy. And whenever a male would come in and start acting the way that they used to, the females would basically kick the shit out of them until they stopped. So I don't know what kind of system reset we would need in that capacity, but I do think that it's more like a bunch of bad actors have set up the system, and that it's like it's like corrupting our true nature, because it seems obvious to me that we would not have evolved to the place that we're at now if we weren't by our fundamental nature social and mutually supportive and looking out for each other and trading responsibilities and sharing ownership. Like I don't see how we could possibly have grown to where we are if we hadn't been operating in that way for like a couple 10,000 years, you know?
Yeah, no, I get that, and that makes sense. I've not heard about that monkey troop that you mentioned. I'm going to have to look into that. That sounds fascinating. So I definitely want to take a look at that. I don't know what the heck kind of reset we would have to kind of get to that level, but that definitely gives me something to think about and something to look into. And I know that, these conversations are not the most entertaining. You got to have a show to do and whatnot. So I'll let you go. But thank you. I appreciate your thoughts on that. It gave me a lot to think about. And I'm very happy that I got a chance to speak to you. I listened to you a lot, along with everybody else on the line. I think this is our first time talking.
I think so too. Yeah, but I appreciate it. And I think it's important to even though this is not like the debate that we're going for as far as making clips and stuff, there are disheartened people in our audience and who may or may not see this. Like there are folks out there who feel hopeless because all of this feels inexorable. It all feels inevitable. And I think it's important to remind folks that so many people are helpers, going back to the Mr. Rogers of it all, that wonderful, kind people like that wouldn't exist if it were fundamental human nature to be shitty to one another. Like we just wouldn't be where we are now. So I appreciate the opportunity to have the conversation, and I appreciate you calling in, and I'm sure we'll talk to you again sometime. Thanks for calling, Billy.
All right. Thank you. You take care. Have a great day.
Bye.
Later, Billy.
I hope he calls back sometimes and gets. I think Erica could probably provide more information about the toxic sludge monkey situation, because I don't remember what kind of monkeys it was. I don't know.
It's the first time I heard about that.
Yeah. I would need to have way more brain power to allocate to the Google search in order to actually find the results that I'm trying to look for. Sometimes my vocabulary doesn't work too good, and that's one of those times is right now. With that, we do have one more call left, and then we may or may not have time to read over a couple super chats, but we will then be sending you over to Forrest and Austin Archer for After Dark. I will be producing, so you can spot me in the chat over there for that. I imagine this one's going to be mostly for you. So we're going to talk to UJ, he, him, leftist from South Dakota. UJ, you are live on the line with Jovan and Luxander. How's it going?
I'm fine. How are you guys?
We chilling.
Getting tired. Well, lay it on us. What's your topic for today?
I told the person that permitted me to speak that I wanted to talk about the issue of Palestine, and specifically, like, I'm Black myself, so I guess I'm not trying to discount you from this conversation, Lux. I mean no disrespect, but this is kind of directed towards Jovan.
I know it's fine. I got that.
Yeah. I noticed a lot of some Black people don't support Palestine for mostly because of the fact that the Middle East and in general, more broadly speaking, is considered to be pretty racist towards Black people. Like the terminology they use towards us is like abid or abdullah, which in Arabic means slave or servant. And I fully recognize that the situation in Gaza is a genocide. I do not support the state of Israel. I fully understand that it's an apartheid state that it's an open air prison. I fully sympathize with the plight of the Palestinian people. I'm just calling because I feel like a lot of like sometimes like white leftists will not acknowledge the more of like the racist aspects that are directed towards black leftists or why black people or some black people are not really as like so quick to support like the Palestinian cause, because they feel as if like a lot of like the suffering that we see on like on the global scale is like kind of like white adjacent or white centered. Like we don't really talk about Sudan or a lot of these other places or the Congo, but we talk a lot about Palestine, and rightfully so. What they're experiencing is horrible, but I just feel like, do you think that there's a certain truth to what I'm saying? And if not, I'm more than open to being educated and you correcting anything I'm saying.
I mean, so it's a how do I want to answer this? Essentially, to answer the first part of your question, I don't care how Palestine relates to us. Palestine could be the most racist country on the planet. Still wouldn't lead me to go, the citizens deserve genocide, right? On the back of that, yes, I think we do heavily focus on Palestine, but that's because of the relation of where that genocide is coming from. So like when we look at Free Congo, right? The biggest issue is that the Congo, the slavery in the Congo is directly benefiting every single person in America, right? The genocide in Palestine is not. So they're more willing to talk about that than they are the Congo, because then they have to acknowledge, oh, my iPhones are filled with cobalt. Oh, a bunch of the stuff in my home uses the stuff that is mined by these people in the Congo, right? So yeah, that's the reason I would be claiming that, at least.
I see. Interesting. Okay, and that's kind of like what I was trying to get at, because I've spoken to like some Middle Eastern people or people from like the Middle East in general about like certain topics in terms of like the anti-black racism that exists there, and sometimes they're very dismissive of it, or they feel like they'll say, oh that's just a Western thing or American thing, but there's a lot of colorism that exists in the Middle East, and when you experience that sort of like discrimination on social media from people in the Middle East, when you're trying to be empathetic to the plights of the Palestinians and people who are experiencing like American neo-imperialism and, you know, the exploitation that a lot of the people who are in Gaza are experiencing at this moment and the displacement that they've gone through, it kind of makes it seem as if like that our problems as black people more broadly, it almost seems like we're always like put in like the background in terms of our issues. Like there's a hierarchy on like suffering, and like we're at the very bottom. Like I don't really see a lot of leftists bring up issues like you said, like Congo or Haiti or Ethiopia or any one of these places. And sometimes like I'm not trying to take the pain away from the suffering of the Palestinians at all. I fully understand what these people are going through, but I just feel like sometimes I wish there could be a little bit more of a balance, because I understand that, well, these other places are not directly affected by America because where our tax dollars is not funding like the atrocities are going on there. So I understand why Americans have a much stronger relationship with Palestine, but I don't know. Sometimes it just kind of feels as if like our issues are not really, you know, taken into consideration.
I 100% I understand what you're saying on that. I don't think it needs to be an either or, and I do think it oftentimes comes across as an either or. I think that most Americans know what's happening in Israel because the United States talks about what's happening in Israel, right? It's on our news channels, it's on all these. Most Americans have no clue what's going on in Haiti. I would argue like most of them don't know what's going on in Haiti. Most of them don't know what's going on in Cuba. Most of them don't know what's going on in the Congo. They just don't know. So there's also the aspect of the fact that the propaganda machine has kept those things largely quiet.
Interesting. No, I find it. I do find it interesting. Maybe that's probably what you're saying is true. Maybe there's also a certain colorism aspect to it that most people can see themselves in these people because they kind of look more closer to white. I don't know. Like I listened to like your debate between Euro and you and Jimmy versus Euro and that one other racist dude, where he was trying to say that like Africa or black people more broadly have never contributed anything to civilization and yada yada yada, and just like a simple, these people are very like anti-intellectual. But not to get off topic, but what I'm trying to get at is I feel like I said, when it comes to like the hierarchy of suffering, like I don't know, maybe I'm too online brain, or I'm too like on social media too much. But when I look at some of these comments when it comes to like Haiti or Congo, they oftentimes make it seem as if this happened in a vacuum, as if there's not a history behind why these countries are in the position they're in. Whether, like if you look at Haiti, for example, after the Haitian Revolution, France comes in and forces them to repay them, and then that absolutely destroys their economy, and they're occupied by the United States. They steal a lot of their gold reserves. They experience, dictatorship, all this stuff. Same with Congo. They experience a genocide by Leopold, and then they're under Belgian occupation, and then they have their leaders assassinated so they can have their resources exploited by Western corporations, and they're under a dictatorship of Mobutu. Like, there's a lot of history that goes into these places. So it sometimes becomes disheartening for me. I've had to kind of step back from it because it seems like no one really gives a shit about black people, or just like black leftist plights are not really taken seriously as much. Like I'm a secular humanist at my core. I have a love for humanity more broadly. I don't like to see suffering anywhere, and it breaks my heart what's happening to Palestinian people and how people more broadly here in our country, like you have a lot of innocent trans people who are being dehumanized. You have women who are subjugated by the Christian patriarchy. Black Americans are having their rights rolled back due to the gutting of the Voting Rights Act. It kind of seems like society as a whole, everything is crumbling around us, and I don't know. I feel powerless sometimes. I don't know.
You're muted.
Shit, my bad.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're not. No, I was muted, so you're good. You aren't wrong. I do think oftentimes more black-centered leftist issues aren't at the forefront of white leftist minds. But again, I would say even white leftists fall for this. They get the news from the major news sources. They aren't even seeing this stuff. When is the last time CNN reported on the Congo? When's the last time MSNBC reported on Ethiopia? Maybe Haiti, you got some traction like a month or two ago, but even that has died down mostly.
And why do you think that is oftentimes?
Well, I mean, if I were the U.S. and I wanted Haiti and the Congo in the way that the U.S. wants Haiti and the Congo, I would do my damnedest to keep disinformation out of like mainstream media. Yeah, I would even go as far as to say we did the same shit with Yemen. Not many Americans knew that we were. Well, just like not many Americans knew until like I would say rather recently that like we've been on a bombing spree in Yemen since Obama.
So it's more so like it's deliberate by our, the establishment and the media apparatus in this country to keep Americans misinformed and uneducated of the world around them.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, I don't mean to take up more of you guys' time. I really do appreciate what you guys do. You've created an amazing space in the outlook for, leftist politics, and I feel like you guys are amazing debaters. You kind of push back on a lot of the bullshit pseudo-intellectualism that the right and, you know, this country more broadly pushes. And you guys have really helped in my deconstruction from Christianity and into leftism. So I want to thank you guys, you know, for allowing me on. You have a wonderful night.
Yeah, man, you too.
Appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I like how at the start of stream today, I was like, Lux, you're in charge. Take everything. And then I talked way too much. I apologize, Lux.
It's okay. Like some of the topics today were just like ones that I wasn't as like knowledgeable about. So just shit happens sometimes. Well, call in studio. We don't need that now. Let's go ahead and close that. Bam, bam.
We're going to spend 20 minutes on super chats?
I mean, what else are we going to do?
Shit, true.
Did you think we were going to get a call in right at the last minute?
No, probably not.
Yeah, we can shoot the shit and talk about anarcho-communism for the next 20 minutes. We'll figure a way to fill the time.
We could have taken friendlies. I think more friendly people would have called in.
I guess that's true. I mean, I guess I technically could open the thing back up. It's like the screener. I was like the screen, you know, it's the same person actually screening for this show and the next show. So it would be asking them to like multitask in a way that might not actually be possible.
Yeah. Well, we got to fill up 20 minutes.
That's true. Listen, there have been times where Jimmy and I have to vamp for literally an entire hour before we get our first caller. So I think we'll be able to
we didn't
figure it
really
out.
need to do pre-show vamping as much today.
That's true. Yeah, it was nicer today. Yeah, I guess they had a decent audience over at the other show that they sent us or something. I don't know. Close that. Cool. Well, okay. Super chats. Do we have... Listen, this is prime time. If you thought that maybe you weren't going to get your super chat read, now we have nothing else that we can do for the next 20 minutes. So that's going to be what we do.
Super chats every time I do a little bit honey when I come around. Super chats.
Exactly. I didn't know that our memberships on here were called Baby Gourd. Do. Which is, I guess, Baby Shark. I've never actually heard Baby Shark. Thank fucking Christ.
We don't know why Jimmy does what he does.
I don't know why he does. He's autistic, and it happens.
What was he doing tonight? Was he just tired from yesterday?
He said out of town doing something. I know that they might be helping someone move this week or something. So basically, yeah, I was like, oh, are you going to at least have any time to rest the week following? And he was like, nope. I was like, okay, well, I hope you sleep well since you're not resting otherwise.
Rest in piss.
Rest in piss, Jimmy Snow. It's true. Thank you to the $5 from Micah, who says everyone should read Child of Omilas. Yeah, I think the short story, Ursula K. Le Guin, the short story is actually called The Ones Who Walk Away from Omilas, I believe. And it's a really impactful short story. And honestly, I recommend reading Ursula Le Guin in general. What?
All right, I'm going to end my side of the stream. Come over to Jimmy's channels to watch the rest of the stream chat.
Do it.
Okay, continue, Lex.
Yeah. Ursula K. Le Guin, though, like, I really love her short stories. I tried to read The Wizard of Earthsea, and I hated that book. But the short stories, especially...
have time to read fiction.
I mean, short stories are awesome because you can spend 20 to 30 minutes reading a short story, and then you have to sit there for an hour while your brain recombobulates. That was my experience reading Ursula K. Le Guin, anyway. Just very impactful stories. Are we going to trade off, or do you just want me to read them because your voice is probably tired?
Are we just doing $5 ones?
$5 or more.
I'm okay for right now. I'm heavily drugged. Brent said, I don't want to hear another POSFF.
I don't know what that is.
Huh?
Pause.
I don't want to hear another POS. And then is the FF a person that you're quoting?
I don't know. But thank you so much for donating, even though your words are incomprehensible to us at this stage of the stream. Bayleaf says, reban this guy immediately. Bayleaf T sounds interesting. What a fascinating concept your username has just introduced me to.
Which Pokemon would taste the best?
Which Pokemon would taste the best?
Unfood Pokemon related. You can't use Pokemon that are like designed after food. But yeah, which
Sure.
Pokemon would taste the best?
So I only know like the first 3 generations. I mean, probably like a Nidoran or something, you would need to cook it like a rabbit. I feel like that would be pretty delicious in the way that a rabbit is delicious. like a Nidoran. It's like it's got to be the same type of animals that we would eat.
No, see, I think that's lazy. Like, yeah, obviously a milk tank steak would be great. It's just a cow.
Yeah. But like they're all sort of analogous to animals that actually exist. And so I'm just thinking like
some of them are literally keys.
Well, that's
what animal is
but I'm saying,
Jigglypuff designed after? I bet Jigglypuff would taste good.
that is interesting. Yeah, Jigglypuff would probably be very tender because they're not like a very active Pokemon. I bet there would be lots of delicious fat in there. Those are the kind of things that I'm thinking about. I'm like, okay, is there going to be good muscle tone but not super gamey and lean and tough? Or if it is going to be gamey and lean and tough, then it also is going to need to be cooked slower or deep fried or something. So of course, anything that you would deep fry would be delicious.
I mean, most of the water Pokemon that are fish are all going to probably be good.
They're all going to be same-ish. Yeah. We could do calamari. You know, we've got Tentacool and everything. But as far as like, so I think it's like which is going to be the most tasty is going to be like subject to taste, right? Because Tentacool might be the most tasty if you like calamari. But I don't know if I like calamari, so.
Are food Pokemon, what happened? What came first? The food that they're based on, or did humans invent food to look like those specific Pokemon?
I think it's probably coevolution, right?
Like a Vanillite. Like a Vanillite and like that. A Vanillite, like, I feel like a human would have looked at that and went, that looks tasty, so they invented ice cream.
But this is one of the dumb ones, isn't it? Where this is like, oh, it's just something that's been possessed by a ghost? Or is it not?
No.
It's not even possessed by a ghost?
Isn't Vanillite just ice cream?
It's an ice-type Pokemon introduced in Gen 5. It supposedly was born from an icicle. Okay, so it's not even just possessed.
No, it's just ice cream.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the ice cream cone certainly was based off of this creature, and that the existence of the ice cream cone didn't influence the evolution of this creature.
Yeah, see?
That's so interesting. Yeah, they decided to make soft serve ice cream. How crazy is that? Do we do that in the real world? Where we're like, let's make a food that looks exactly like the animal.
I can't think of like any food based on animals, no.
Yeah. Not one that like, well, okay, like, you know, we can bake bread in different shapes. I've seen bread.
Yeah, but that doesn't count. I mean, like something we looked at and then made a dish to resemble that thing because we thought that thing was delicious, but not delicious enough to eat. Like Pokemon would make sense if you ate, like if a Vanillix was made from, like ice cream was made from Vanillix. There are also some Pokemon that it doesn't make sense if there's more than one of them in existence.
Yeah?
Yeah, like Cubone. It doesn't make sense that you're telling me every Cubone wears its mom's skull? No, it would make sense if there was only one Cubone ever that did that.
Yeah, the lore kind of got away with him on that one.
Yeah, I think Pokemon I think there are some Pokemon that make sense if there's like a bunch, and there are some where it doesn't.
Are there any Pokemon theorists who say that like there is a different Pokemon that's just Cubone that didn't go through a traumatic backstory?
I think they use Kangaskhan, the baby in Kangaskhan's pouch.
Oh, okay. That would kind of make sense.
This baby would put on its mom's skull and become Cubone. I'm like, that's stupid.
Yeah. Unless it's from Nintendo Direct, then I don't want to hear about it. I actually don't care about Nintendo. They suck so bad.
I can make them a good game, though.
That's true. Yeah. I think as a household, we're done purchasing Nintendo games after, I think Tears of the Kingdom was like the most recent game that I purchased from them.
Tears of the Kingdom was such ass. Where are we in? Where are we in?
We had Bayleaf Tea was the last one, so we were looking at $10 from M. Corrine.
10-minute conversation about Pokemon.
Listen, it was good.
M. Corrine said the U.S. does intentionally target citizens. True.
Yeah. Thank you for the $10 from Cardinal Chimp, who says racist grandpa is literally holding the phone for Euro right now. Yeah,
embarrassing.
I heard that they were like just standing there on speakerphone next to each other. Like pretty cringe.
Pure Form said, did they pay Euro to call in? He's making Jovan and Lux looks so good. Honestly, he got that George Soros check, bro.
I just gotta sit here and look pretty sometimes. Like, nobody has even commented on my haircut. It doesn't look great because I did it myself, but still, I did cut my hair. And nobody said anything. Can't believe y'all. Hunt and Farm, great username. Thank you for the 10, who says, E and Dudley, who's literally holding the phone for him, are the best argument for reproductive rights. Wish their mothers had had access. He's gonna say bigoted words, just permaban. He didn't say any slurs that I heard. Did you hear any slurs?
No, he only uses slurs in your DMs.
Yeah, I guess so. In Jimmy's DMs. Yeah, I did not. Maybe he would have right at the end, except I had him muted. But oh well.
Cardinal Chimp said, going between the streams has been awesome.
You shouldn't have gone over there. How dare you? Melatonale, thank you for the $5. Says, y'all deserve some supers for putting up with these crybabies. Yikes. Hashtag Team Lux for dropping that call. Thank you. Mwah. Much love. Thank you.
Snap us. Thank you for the $20 super chat for dealing with Euro being stupid. Love y'all.
Appreciate you.
I'm getting lower and lower in my chair.
Yeah, that happens to me sometimes in the stream. I just decided I was going to stand up and not slump.
Scared.
Yeah. Halo 3 is the greatest game ever. W Jovan. Thank you, Stomp. Yeah, did you like defended Halo 3 soundtrack yesterday? Is that what that was?
I defended the whole game, and I think I gave way better arguments than Jimmy did. Chat was just biased to Skyrim. I'm gonna be so for real. We did like a mini ratio. There's no way y'all play Skyrim unmodded, vanilla Skyrim, ran like shit, and you're only nostalgic for it because you haven't gone back and tried to play vanilla Skyrim on OG vanilla Skyrim hardware. That's my hot take.
I want to go back and start. I want to do all the Souls games because I haven't played any of them, and I just think it would be fun.
I'm not a Souls kind of guy.
Me neither. Oh shoot! You know what? I probably should open lines on the other show. This is the tricky part of the show where I have to. I'm like producing and hosting right here, and then I have to also switch over and start producing the other stuff. So let me just do that. Yeah, tell me why Halo 3 is the greatest game ever. I want to hear about it.
Because it revolutionized multiplayer gaming. The only reason multiplayer gaming is the way it is right now is because of Halo 3. You could make the argument it's because of Halo 2, but it's Halo 3 perfected the mold. It would not be where multiplayer games would not be what they are without Halo 3.
What would you say is the biggest change from Halo 1 to Halo 3 that made it so much more successful?
I don't think they changed like a lot except they added the multiplayer.
Okay.
Like live. I mean, obviously the game got better, but that's just because the hardware got better.
Okay, yeah. So basically just like the existing set of like moves and guns and everything, and then adding a multiplayer element to that just like completely popped open the box and like
it was that. It was the way they added vehicle combat. Right? Like integrated vehicle combat in a way that hadn't really been done before, to the point where Halo's synonymous with their vehicles, like the Warthog, the Mongoose, the fucking what was the purple thing? What was the Banshee. And then like truly Xbox Live was created for Halo. Like Bungie and Microsoft worked directly together to make sure that they had a live system that could run their game. Like it was peak.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's cool. I'm convinced that Halo 3 is the best game.
Jimmy said Skyrim.
Yeah, I never played Skyrim either. I don't know why it just never.
I love Skyrim. I just don't think it's the best game ever.
Right. It's like when people say like Final Fantasy VII is the best Final Fantasy game, and it's like yes, it was Ocarina of Time. It's like, yes, these games were incredible in their time, and they did change things about the format of gaming in general, but that does not mean that it holds up over time, right? Maybe if we got a remaster and then like tweaks on, again, we did get a full redo of Final Fantasy VII. They upgraded the graphics, but basically just like created an entirely new game that was the same story, I guess, and like the same fundamental mechanics and everything. I don't know how successful that was. I definitely just saw a bunch of cross-dressing memes when that came out. You know, trans people. It's what we do. Thank you. The Guys Podcast, $5 super chat says, not a Trump supporter, but would like to debate Christianity. I'm sorry, I don't know if the lines were full earlier. But hey, if you're still around,
you're still here, yeah, go to Line After Dark, and they'll be.
Yeah, if you just stick around for a few more minutes, guys, it'll basically automatically kick you over to our other show that we're about to do after this with 2 other hosts who are going to take calls about God and stuff specifically. That's the goal for them to take calls. So go ahead and do that.
I like that we got at least one like heavy MAGA person who was like, let's debate Trump. And I'm like, well, here's what Trump did. And he's like, I'm going to hang up.
Yep.
Brent clarified, POSFF, his piece of shit fuckface, is Joel Reed's Bible and Mezzo slang. Highly recommend for a good mock and chuckle. Love that.
I hear good things about Joel and Mezzo, so. But now you have to tell us, why do you think Tears of the Kingdom is ass? Rainku is playing it right now and wants to know.
Tears of the Kingdom took everything good Breath of the Wild did and said, fuck all of it, we're going to shit on it. It is literally, I've never seen a game go backwards in a way like Tears of the Kingdom. If you want a really good, look up Skitty Bitty, I think is their name on YouTube. They have like a 4-hour video tearing down Tears of the Kingdom that I think is gold and addresses almost every problem I have with the game. The game functionally did not do enough, in my opinion, to build on Breath of the Wild. Story-wise, it was absolute hog shit. It's dumb, it makes no sense, and it ruins the characters. Mechanic-wise, I thought it, when I played it, I loved it. I was like, oh, cool, the depths. And then you get into the depths and you're like, wow, this is boring. There's nothing down here. The rewards for completing challenges were worse. It was just all around. That game was not worth the time and money that you sink into it.
I feel like it should have just been part 2. Or they should have just released it as DLC and expanded the original game instead of trying to scaffold the whole thing brand new. Yeah, and I haven't gone back and finished Tears of the Kingdom since I moved up here. I keep being like, I want to, but then I'd have to start over at this point.
Tears of the Kingdom has this moment where Zelda goes back in time, okay? Zelda knows what Ganon is, at least Calamity Ganon, and knows that Calamity Ganon is this ancient evil thing, and goes back in time and meets this dude called Ganondorf. And Zelda, who's actually a very smart character in this series, doesn't put 2 and 2 together. Also, I don't think the shrines are as good. I like some of the powers more. But like whenever I go and play Breath of the Wild, I'm like, I miss like the building stuff. But then I also think about
how the best. I loved the Terrytown series.
But I then think about like how much like in Breath of the Wild, how much I explored differently, because in Tears of the Kingdom, I made a flying motorcycle and then I used that to get everywhere.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I completely forgot about the building things. Yeah, I don't know if I liked that mechanic as much. When you said building things, I was like Terrytown, but
it just cheapened it. I did like the Terrytown side quest in Breath of the Wild. But also, why it's been 7 years from the jump from Breath of the Wild to Tears of the Kingdom. Why has everyone forgotten who Link is? They're like, who are you? Who are you? We just met. And I'm like, he's Link. He just saved the world 7 years ago.
Yeah.
He's Zelda's right-hand man. What are you doing?
That's gotta be wild. Okay. This next super chat is from Cardinal Chimp, who waited at the midnight release of Halo 3. I bought Skyrim when it went on sale. Go fuck yourself, Jimmy. That's solid.
That's funny.
There's 2 more super chats.
To answer the person in chat. No. Fuck them. I need to talk to this person in chat.
Yeah, go for it.
I agree. How come unlockable gear that you get in Breath of the Wild then goes back into treasure chests and you have to unlock them in Tears of the Kingdom from chests now hidden in the wild? That doesn't make sense. They give me new gear. I'm mad about it. Sorry.
That's all good. Listen, people wanted the rant, and that's what they got. Thank you, Jam Nick, for the $10. Last night I made it into the Mile High Club. I also got Skyrimmed. Ha 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 ha. Or the High Mile Club. That's got to be some Skyrim joke that I don't get. Or a Halo
Quantum
joke?
Chaos said, Jovan, you're only wrong about StarCraft. Brood War exists, and that was the greatest game ever. Halo 3 close third after BW, and Halo Reach. I'd play Halo 3 before StarCraft, but I'm just not a big StarCraft fan.
StarCraft is a very particular kind of game that takes a very particular kind of person who wants to play it, for sure. Well, you guys, we're winding down. We're getting ready to leave here, but let me just say, we got so many other great shows coming up this week. We've got Memorial Day next week, and on Memorial Day, we're doing the 8-hour Forrest and Erica stream, which I'm so excited for. And what else is going on? Anything else exciting going on? Pretty much just shows as usual from now on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just our normal fodder.
Yeah. Well, check your notification settings. Make sure you're on notifications, everything, and go over to the news stream and hit the like button over there. And I have to now figure out how I'm closing this thing out. Okay, so we're going to go over here and go here. And guess what? It's time to fade to black. Okay, bye.